Welcome to another deadline stream in UCL Fantasy. Ahead of Matchday 12, there's only one after this one, so we're at the very end of the season, and let's see what the Liverpool versus Villarreal lineups are. And I'm going to show you a predicted lineup first, but once again, for those of you that will probably ask questions like who's going to start, I can give you my opinion, but ultimately we're going to find out in around 45 minutes, and that's going to have huge repercussions as well for FPL and Double Gimmick 36. I have a suspicion that Robertson could be benched in one of those games, or even possibly tonight. That is definitely possible, and let's wait and see. And be sure to put all your questions and comments in the live chat. Try to keep it respectful, no spamming, and we'll get through everything as we always do. So thank you very much. Let's try to address all of you here. Let me know where you're watching from, and all the best of luck for Matchday 12, of course. And we've done plenty of FPL content and F1 Fantasy as well as UCL Fantasy, and things are going to keep on going. So welcome, Mohammed. Hi, Dylan. Should we move Jesus? I think that's a very good question. And I personally think that it depends on the other moves you have. So, for example, if you want to get Joao Cancelo back in, and then, for example, you need to get rid of someone like Diaz who doesn't start today, then I wouldn't prioritize that. Otherwise, I would possibly do so, because I think Vinicius Jr., Benzema, and possibly one of Diaz or Jota, whoever starts today, are better options in Matchday 12. Welcome, Isology. Welcome to Sankar as well. Welcome, Superstar. Yeah, Danjuma is doubtful indeed, Christian. I'm going to show you a actual source from The Athletic that talked about this and what the problem is. So he's definitely looking to be off my team, and that's something I talked about in my team selection video as well. Yeah, are now out for me, at least right now. Yeah, I believe so. Jota or Diaz, whoever starts really, Sankar. And normally my preference, if they both start, would be Jota, but I think Diaz is, closer to the full starting 11 or the best starting 11 Liverpool have than Jota is at the moment. So because of that, I'd say Diaz. But let's just wait and see what the lineup is. Welcome, Ivan. Thank you for tuning in. Welcome, Aiden. Hi, Dylan. My team is Edison, Alisson, Trent, Thiago, Stones, Cancelo, Laporte, Salah, Mane, Fabinho. Yeah. So looking at your team, those people you highlighted or put in capital letters, I think those are the ones you want to get rid of, especially Stones. Let me show you actually what I'm talking about. So there's a few bits of news I want to go through. The first is reported by Simon Stone, funnily enough, and only John Stones is missing in Manchester City training, and Kyle Walker is back. I think you can see him around the middle. I didn't, fully inspect this picture, but basically everyone is back for Man City but John Stones. So because of that, Aiden, I would get rid of him, and we're not going to get the City lineup, unfortunately, today before the deadline, so I would possibly move him on, to be fair. As for Thiago, he's not a bad option, but I just don't think he's that great, if we're being completely honest. And the other player you highlighted in capital letters was Gabriel Jesus. I'd be more inclined to keep him out of the three that you mentioned there, but Thiago and Stones I think you could improve on. And looking at your team, you've already got Fabinho, Salah, Mane as well. I would rather get another Liverpool defender than go for Thiago. I'm guessing, by the way, Thiago, Trent, Thiago, Stones. Oh, I'm guessing it's Thiago Silva, actually, my bad. So, yeah, in terms of Thiago Silva, I'd get rid of him and John Stones for sure. Deferred transfer, possibly Danjuma, but the rest is fine. I think you could keep Jesus, basically, Aiden. So that's pretty much what I would say. Should I change Edison to Alisson Becker? Oh, for a -4 hit, definitely not. For a normal transfer, yes, I would probably do that if you have that luxury, Alan, but I wouldn't do it for a -4. No chance. I would never take hits for a goalkeeper, especially in UCL Fantasy for me. If it's for like a double gimmick play in FPL, then fair enough, but not in this case. 90 points in the first leg. Wow, looking forward to a good second leg. Good luck, Denilson, and yeah, that's a really strong score there, 90 points. Danjuma or Foden? Danjuma is actually a problem. He's doubtful. Let me go through that piece of news as well. So this is reported by The Athletic, but anything Liverpool just obviously cited that. So Unai Emery expects to have Moreno back available ahead of Liverpool's visit to their stadium. However, Danjuma is a fitness doubt for the La Liga outfit after missing training on Monday due to a foot problem, and this was reported once again by The Athletic. And we're going to get the lineup anyway in 40 minutes, but if Danjuma isn't starting, I will definitely get rid of him. And to be honest, as we talked about in my team selection video, that is the plan anyway, to be fair. Love from India. Thank you, Sankar. Thank you very much. Trinidad and Tobago. Yeah, wow, that's some beautiful countries here. I actually know someone from that country. Yeah, or maybe a few. How's it, bro? Hope you're good. I'm good. Daven, what about you? Thank you very much for tuning in again. Dylan, Salah or Mane for captain? There might be a possibility of Mane being benched. Either way, you can lock in your captain once the lineup is available. Assuming both start, I think I'd still go for Salah, though. Devin says it sucks. I'm going to have a power outage that's going to last from the build-up until the end of the game. Wow, that is great. I hate that. I've had a few issues recently, especially with the internet, and it's not ideal, is it? Hopefully it doesn't affect you too much, but it looks like obviously it's going to be a complete power outage and you can't really see the lineups and stuff. But ultimately, I'll talk about this now actually. Let me show you the predicted lineup for Liverpool. Obviously it might be wrong. The Anfield Watch, I think it is, they are predicting Tsimikas to start over Robertson, but then Alisson, Van Dijk, Konate, Trent and Tsimikas as the back line. You've got Thiago, Fabinho, Henderson, and then Diaz, Mane, Salah. This is pretty much what I expect as well. Maybe Robertson comes in for Tsimikas and then the Greek left-back comes in for one of the double Game 36 fixtures in FPL. But really, I think the rest is what I would expect. I think Liverpool are going to go very strong and they could afford to bench Robertson for Tsimikas. I don't think they would suffer too much. So, yeah, that's pretty much all you can really base it off. And also, Danjuma is a doubt, David. So, bear that in mind, and that could be a big problem. Mane for the differential. Yeah, fair enough. I mean, I really like Mane. I talked about him in all of my recent Best Limitless Team videos and Wildcard Team videos if you can afford it. But I still would prefer Salah over Mane, despite what has been happening recently. Hi, Dylan. Best of luck tonight. Do you think Mahrez will start? Thank you, Mark. I believe he will. He is Pep's go-to guy on the right-hand side in the Champions League, and they could play both of them. So Mahrez and Gabriel Jesus there, and also play the likes of Foden, Kevin De Bruyne, Bernardo Silva, etc. So I think, yes, Mahrez will start. Personally, I could be wrong, but that's what I believe. What's up, Dylan? We're going to win big this week, I hope. Yeah, hopefully, and thank you very much for tuning in. It should be an interesting one, and there could be even more open games. And imagine that, the first game between Madrid and City was exceptional. One of the best Champions League games in recent years. Hopefully more of the same there. And Liverpool versus Villarreal, I would expect that to be a bit more open. Villarreal will be a bit more gung-ho. And it would be a shame if Danjuma misses out, of course. And he could be a big part into what happens today. Would you get rid of Robertson and get Tsimikas if he starts? No. I would rather get Konate or Trent or even Van Dijk over the likes of Tsimikas. Although, of course, Tsimikas came in for Robertson in the Champions League. I think it was for the... I can't remember exactly which game, but he got an assist as well. Welcome, Ronan from Ireland. Thank you very much. Your planned transfers, I'll go over them very soon, but it's pretty much what I said in my team selection. Nothing's changed there, Vinu. John Stones to who? Already have Laporte and Cancelo, and Danjuma to who now? I'm not sure who you have or don't have, Mickey, but for example, Danjuma to Foden or Bernardo Silva, if you already have the likes of Mane, Salah, Mahrez, and KDB, for example. Other than that, I would go for Foden or Bernardo Silva. As for John Stones to who, I would probably go for a Liverpool defender if you can do so, and definitely for me it would be Konate. If not, there's Van Dijk, Trent, Robertson, whoever starts, of course. I wouldn't go for Tsimikas, though. Yeah, Tsimikas plays as Robertson can play Premier League. Yeah, I mean, I don't mind too much because I've got enough transfers to deal with that, but it's certainly not ideal because I think Robertson's a great choice. And speaking of my transfer plan, since people are somewhat interested, we'll say, here we go. So Foden could be coming in for Danjuma. If not, I'm also considering Bernardo Silva because he's good for man of the match points. And sometimes Bernardo Silva is very explosive in UCL Fantasy. And Joao Cancelo, I want to get him back in, but of course, I'm leaving that final transfer depending on what happens with the Liverpool lineup. So if Diaz misses out and it's Jota starting, I would possibly make a move there and go from Diaz to Jota. And if not, it could be Robertson to Konate. So that's what I'm considering at the moment. Let me just double check Diego Jota's price. Hopefully, yeah, he's still 8.4, so I could afford this. So, for example, this could be what happens if Diaz doesn't start and Jota does. Otherwise, if Diaz starts and it's Robertson who misses out, potentially, then it could just be Konate coming in, and I get Joao Cancelo back as well. So let me know what you think of these transfer plans. Of course, they're quite broad. There's a few players I'm missing, of course, such as, for example, Ruben Diaz if I get rid of him. And also the big one is Vinicius Jr. I think he could do really well. Let's see what happens with the lineups, but it's not looking too good for Danjuma as we discussed earlier. And let me know, your team situations as well. Yeah, my team, Alisson, Ulrich, Stones, Militao, Laporte, Robertson, Trent, Fabinho, Danjuma, Salah, KDB, Modric, Benzema, Diaz, Vinicius. Current plans are Stones and Danjuma to Cancelo and Foden. That's pretty much what I'm looking to do. By the way, Vivian, you can't, if you save a transfer, it doesn't really do anything. You can't carry transfers over in the knockout stages, which is a bit funny because in the group stages we could, but not in the knockouts. So I would just look at the lineups, and then from that, Liverpool versus Villarreal, then you could make an informed decision about what your third transfer is. Welcome, Teza. I'm doing well. What about you? Luis Diaz for captain versus Salah. I still would go for Salah because he's a midfielder. He gets more points for scoring a goal. He can get a point for a clean sheet. And Luis Diaz has been fairly inconsistent, I think, in the Champions League. And look, he's played well, but in terms of goal contributions, he hasn't really delivered week in, week out, even throughout his time at Liverpool. Who you got, Madrid or City? I think I replied to a comment similar to this earlier on in one of my videos, and I will back my original prediction with City. I'll back them to go through. However, never underestimate Real Madrid, and this is the game that I'm most conflicted about, of course. I back Liverpool to go through to the final. I don't really have any concerns or doubts about that. As for City Madrid, though, anything could happen, but I would still back Man City and my original prediction. Benzema, Vinicius, Diaz, Salah, Fabinho, Danjuma, Laporte, Van Dijk, Robertson, Arnold, Ederson. That's a good team, João Pescada, but as we've been talking about, Danjuma is a doubt for today, so check the lineup in around half an hour and then make an informed decision about your final transfer. But ultimately, I think Danjuma could be making way for you. If he's not starting, you should get rid of him, basically. As for your goalkeeper change, if you have an extra transfer to spare, that's free, then of course I would consider it and go to Alisson. Otherwise, I wouldn't really make a move like Ederson to Rulli or to Courtois. I don't think that's worth it. But to Alisson, it could be. And yeah, the same goes for Robertson. Let's wait and see what the lineups are saying. I've got 3 transfers. Should I get Konate, Benzema or Jesus? I need new midfielder. Get Benzema, mate. You have to get better. I've been saying this all along. He's in the form of his life. I think he's one of the only must-have players in UCL right now. Probably him, De Bruyne, and maybe a João Cancelo or a Liverpool fullback. The rest is quite open to interpretation. Either way, most people's teams are going to be similar at this stage, but Benzema you want to have for sure. Would you take Tsimikas or Konate? Like I said before, Henry, I would go for Konate because I back him to also start in the final should Liverpool reach that stage. With Tsimikas, that wouldn't be the case, and then you would want to spend another transfer there potentially in order to get rid of Tsimikas again. Welcome, Ahmed. I'm doing well. What about you? Thoughts on my team? Svilar, Ederson, Trent, Robertson, Militao, Laporte, Cancelo, Mane, Salah, KDB, Foden, Fabinho, Benzema, Jesus, Diaz. So once again, kind of similar thoughts here. Wait for the Liverpool lineup, and then if one of Robertson or Diaz doesn't start, or maybe even both of them don't, then you can make moves there. The rest is fine. You've only got 0.2 million, so let's say, for example, Robertson doesn't start. You could do Robertson to Konate and then use that extra money to potentially upgrade Svilar, but either way, you'd still need a bit more actually. So looking at your team, basically you don't need to make any transfers as things stand, but if one of those players don't start for Liverpool, I would get rid of them. You don't have Danjuma, don't you? No, you don't. So he's not really a concern for you. I wouldn't bring him in, and I wouldn't get rid of him just yet. I would wait for the lineup, and then if he's out, then definitely get him rid. Should I select 5 Liverpool players for defence? I wouldn't do that personally. Now, if you really back Liverpool for a clean sheet, then why not? But in my opinion, Liverpool have the best attack in the world, arguably. So you would want at least 2 attackers. So Salah and Mane, or maybe Salah and Diaz, or Jota, whoever it may be. So I would rather have 3 or 4 defensive coverage for Liverpool, and then maybe 2 attackers potentially, or 3 of each like I kind of do, although one of them is Fabinho, who isn't really an attacker. What happened to Danjuma? We talked about this earlier, Matt. So basically he has a foot injury and he didn't train yesterday, so he is a big doubt for today. Now, he might still be rushed back in because this is Villarreal's biggest game. Probably one of their biggest games in their history, especially in recent years. So yeah, I think Danjuma could be a big doubt for today. Fabinho out, Thiago in. Not for me, Alexa. I think Fabinho's a better option. He's more consistent with the points because of ball recoveries. With Thiago, I just don't really see it compared to Fabinho, so I don't think it's worth it. Gonna captain KDB, yeah, fair enough. I mean, once again, Manish, just to make it very clear. So try to captain someone from today. So Liverpool versus Villarreal, captain someone from that game, and then if they blank or don't do that well, you can change the captaincy to KDB if you wish, or Karim Benzema for the Wednesday game. So be sure to do that because it's very important, and you're maximising your chances of getting more points from your captaincy. Robertson will play today, I think, from what Klopp said. He takes Villarreal very seriously. This is the thing, though. I don't doubt that. I think he will take Villarreal seriously. I mean, and he should. You're in the second leg. You've only got a 2-goal cushion, and you're away from home to a team that beat Bayern and Juventus. But Tsimikas is a very good player to come in for Robertson. I don't think the downgrade is that huge. We're not talking about Tierney to Tavares levels of downgrade. We're talking about, probably the best left back in the world in Robertson going to still a very good left back who would start for most Premier League teams. But obviously you would probably know more than me, and maybe you are right. But the reason why I'm saying that it's a possibility Tsimikas starts is because I think he's actually a very good player. Do we know if Jesus and Cancelo are starting for sure? There would be no reason why Cancelo wouldn't start, in my opinion. As for Jesus, there's definitely a debate, and he might not start. It could be Mahrez. Even Sterling could start with Foden, or they could put Grealish. There's so many different possibilities up front, but City are already light in the fullback positions. They've got Zinchenko, Cancelo and Walker now available, but why would you play Zinchenko and Walker and not Cancelo? So for me, Cancelo definitely starts, and if he doesn't, I'd be shocked. Bernardo Silva or Phil Foden? Your preference? I actually still prefer Foden, but Bernardo Silva is better in terms of accumulating those man of the match performances. Now, personally, and you may disagree, whoever's watching, I don't think Bernardo Silva deserved man of the match against Real Madrid. I think De Bruyne was a better player, for example. You could say I was biased because I captained him, but I just didn't think he was the best player. But he still has that ability to get those man of the match awards, more so than someone like Phil Foden. Danjuma out. Once again, I don't want to repeat myself, but wait for the lineups and then make a final decision. But it's looking very unlikely that he's going to start today, based on what we've seen or heard yesterday and also in the last few days. Dylan, is all Liverpool defence good? Once again, I think you asked a similar question about 5 defenders. I wouldn't go that much. I would have maybe 3 or 4. I wouldn't go overboard because you're putting all your eggs in one basket, and why not cover different teams of the likes of Albion from Villarreal or maybe Real Madrid? You can go for Militao. From Manchester City, of course, they've got a really good defence. I don't think it's worth it. Mane or KDB? Same answer as last week. Just about I would go for KDB, but if you look at the fixture, and especially with City being away at the Bernabeu, you could possibly argue Mane is the better option, but I'd still go for KDB. Lucas says, thinking of using my free transfers to get Foden, Edison and another Liverpool defender. Yeah, I like that. It's between Van Dijk and Konate. I don't know who to pick. Luca, basically look for the lineup, and then if both of them start, I would go for Konate. Now, if you just want someone who's going to start every single game, no questions asked, then go for Van Dijk. He's the safer pick. But I personally think Konate is slightly better in terms of goal threat based on what we've seen recently. At one point he scored in 3 consecutive games. I think in 2 Champions League and also in the FA Cup. And also ball recoveries, he's just as good, if not better than Van Dijk. So if Konate starts, Luca, I would go for Konate. Both of them are good though. I think you can get Vinicius instead of Jesus. The thing is, Abdul, I wouldn't be able to afford it. So it's a really good suggestion what you say. Actually, you might be right. You know what? Just forget what I'm saying. Actually, it would be with Konate coming in, wouldn't it? Yeah. So, for example, so with Robertson and Foden and Cancelo, I would be 0.1 million off. So I would still need extra money. So how much is Vinicius? Like 9.1? Yeah. So I would need 0.7 million more, basically. And the problem is, I would also probably have to take a hit if I want Foden and Cancelo as well. So that isn't ideal. Now, what I could possibly do is keep Diaz and maybe get rid of Robertson for Cancelo. But I don't think that's the way to go. I don't want to have triple City defensive coverage, I think, when I expect them to concede in the second leg. So let's test this out, by the way. It's a very good suggestion. And, if possible, I would do it, but not for a hit. I don't think it's worth it there. And I'd be happy to even have a benched Jesus on my bench than take a -4 hit to get Vinicius Jr. Although maybe it will pay off, but I think the risk is too great, for me to take such a risk, especially when I'm in a good rank already. So let's say, for example, Robertson out to Cancelo, sorry. Yeah, so Cancelo will come in. Yeah, I wouldn't even have enough players, would I? So let's say Cancelo, keep Danjuma. Then I would be able to afford it, potentially. But then, let's say, for example, Danjuma doesn't play it. Yeah, possibly. That's something I could look at. So Danjuma could make way for someone like Bernardo Silva. And to be honest, I'm really set on getting Joao Cancelo because you could just say, well, why not just get Konate anyway? And maybe that is what I would do. So, yes, Vinicius Jr. is a possibility, but I just think I have different ideas of where I want my team to go, and I'm just not sure if Vinicius Jr. would fit. I don't want to force him in with a -4, but obviously I appreciate the suggestion, and in the end, I may end up taking that offer, if you could call it that. So, for example, I'll just keep things up, just so people aren't confused about what I'm looking to do. So, I'll keep Robertson in there for now, and Jesus and Diaz making way at the moment for Joao Cancelo, but things can definitely change, and the lineup is what I'm waiting for, basically. Let's see, how far away are we in the chat? We're not too far, I think. Yes, that's good. Okay, so thank you very much to everyone for tuning in. If you haven't already, you know what to do. Smash the like button and subscribe for new. Thank you very much for all your support throughout the whole season. UCL Fantasy has been great all season round. It's been a lot of fun. I'd say it's quite different. There's not really as strong of a template as well as it would be in FPL. But once again, speaking of FPL, we've got content for that as well if you haven't already checked that out. And we've got more deadline streams, more reaction streams, videos, and there could be a best bench boost team for Game Week 36, which is quite unique. So let me know if you want to see that. And also F1 fantasy content. So if you like F1, if you're playing the fantasy game already, check out the guide of how to play that game, as well as the team selection. There's plenty on offer on this channel. But once again, I appreciate everyone standing by. And also, let's try and get this video to 100 likes. There's over 100 people watching. We can definitely do that. Let's go through these questions, the ones that I haven't been able to do. So Henry puts his team. Okay, yeah, I don't think you put your team before. So Alisson, Alisson, Carson, Robertson, Trent, Laporte, Cancelo, Gilberto, KDB, Salah, Mane, Danjuma, Rodri, Benzema, Jesus, Diaz. I really like that team, and I don't want to sound like a broken record, but once again, it ultimately depends on the lineup. So if Robertson's benched, Henry, I would look at getting rid of him. And I think you mentioned Konate or Van Dijk before, so that is one move you could look to do. Something else, I mean, I wouldn't get rid of one of those midfielders, KDB, Salah, or Mane. But I do think that having all three of them does limit your overall squad depth just a little bit because you have players like Gilberto in there. I personally prefer Fabinho over Rodri as well, Henry, but obviously it's completely up to you what you decide to do in the end. So yeah, if Diaz doesn't start, go for Jota, potentially if the Portuguese player indeed starts. Maybe go for Konate or Van Dijk for Robertson. And the other move I would suggest is Fabinho for Rodri. And you've got Danjuma. If he doesn't start, then you could get in, for example, Phil Foden, or you could get Bernardo Silva instead there. So hopefully that answers your queries. Diaz or Jota, wait for the lineup basically, but I would suspect Diaz to start basically, but I could be wrong. I already have Mane, Salah, KDB, Benzema, Modric, Trent. What do you think about Fabinho and Vinicius in for Foden and the third striker spot? I like that a lot, to be honest, Vinu. I probably would do it. Yeah, I think that's a solid team and that's a good set of transfers. Yeah, I think that's good. Went with Mane plus Rodri over KDB and Fabinho last week. Yeah, that's... I mean, to be fair, it wasn't the worst. I mean, Mane did score, but yes, Fabinho for me is the better option than Rodri. As for KDB Mane, I would have argued Mane was better for last match day. But yes, you know, these things can happen. Who is my preference? It would be KDB and Fabinho. That's why I've got them myself. But yeah, both are good duos. I don't think you made a really bad call or something like that. Should I transfer Modric for some Man City or Liverpool player? I personally wouldn't, Alan, but I can understand why you would do so. If that's your only route to someone like Mane, KDB, then yes, I would definitely go ahead with it. Otherwise, if you're only going to go to someone like Foden or Bernardo or Mahrez, yeah, I would consider it, but I still think I'd keep Modric. Arnold says playing the Limitless. Yeah, that's a solid team. I'm trying to see. So, yeah, Robertson or Tsimikas, whoever starts, that's fair enough. I like that. Trent, Konate, yeah, Laporte, Cancelo, Courtois and Becker, I like that a lot, and I said it even in my best Limitless team video. Although I went with Edison, I think there is a good argument to go for Courtois instead because he's got higher ceiling, and you've always got Alisson as well, in the first day, so a good chance of a clean sheet there. And then yeah, Mane, KDB, Mahrez, Foden, Benzema, Vinicius. Yeah, that's a really good team. You could consider maybe a Liverpool attacker. But I think you've already got enough Liverpool players. You've got Alisson, yeah, you've got Trent, Konate, and either Robertson or Tsimikas. You've got Salah. And Mane, yeah, so you can't do that. So fair enough, I like that team a lot, Arnold. Yeah, Manish, I probably will do UCL Fantasy content next season. I'll let you know if anything changes there. What's your prediction tonight and tomorrow? I'll show you. I'll go ahead and show you. So on the predictor, I've gone for 2 on Liverpool. This was a prediction I made even before the first leg, I think. I might change this, by the way. So depending on the lineups, for example, if Danjuma doesn't start, I think I would change this. So I think 3-1 I'd be more tempted by. Villarreal are a decent side and they could cause Liverpool problems. But I think Liverpool will have too much for them and will score at least 2 goals. I'm just not sure if it'll be 2 or 3. I think Villarreal might sneak 1, but I'm just not that sure. And if Danjuma doesn't start, I might even give Liverpool a clean sheet and go for a standard 2-0 win. I'll probably put the Joker on them. Depending on the lineup, I'll put Mane or Salah to score first, maybe even Diaz. And for the Man City-Real Madrid game, I think it could go to extra time, honestly, and that's going to be very interesting. I think Benzema will score. I'm not sure if he'll score first, but I've put him, first scorer. I think that's a pretty good prediction there. And look, as much as I really like City, well, not like City, I really rate them as a team. I like watching them play. I think they might struggle and even be knocked out potentially. My prediction originally was City to go through, so maybe they'll go through on penalties or whatever, maybe extra time, but as a standalone game, I think I would go for Real Madrid victory, potentially, but I might change that. I'm not too sure. Either way, that's going to be subject to tomorrow, the lineups and what we see there. But yeah, I think the main one I'm going to change from today is the Liverpool one on stream. Thank you, Peter Peters. Yeah, I mean, just looking at the points totals across the season, Bernardo Silva has accumulated several Man of the Match awards, and I personally don't think he deserved the last one, but there you go. Jesus scored 3 games in a row. Surely he starts again. It is Pep though, John, and that's the thing I would say. But yes, you would suspect he would start. Ever since he's been linked to Arsenal, it seems like Pep is desperate to convince him to stay or to increase his transfer value. But yes, I think he should start, but it's not a guarantee. Who are the best defenders from Madrid? I think Courtois is the best defensive coverage for Madrid, but because you're asking specifically about defenders, I would still go for Militao. And actually, one other bit of news that I haven't mentioned today, Real Madrid actually put out their squad heading into that Manchester City clash, and Alaba is part of it, but many sources actually predict Alaba not to feature, not to start there, and it was very clear from the first leg that he wasn't in a fit, he wasn't fit enough, he wasn't in condition to play that game. So I personally think that it would be Eder Militao or Ferland Mendy as the best defenders for Real Madrid. Camacho's not too bad either. Valverde, that 6 million, great differential. He's a decent differential. I wouldn't say he's great. I, once again, would rather have Fabinho or Rodri over the likes of Valverde, and even Casemiro, who should actually be back, and that's a huge boost for Real Madrid. They needed him in the last game against Man City, so I think I'd rather have one of those three ball recoverers and destroyers in the midfield than Valverde. Is Robertson injured or what? No, he's not. It's just based on rotation. He's not injured, as far as I'm aware. Danjuma or Foden Silva? Well, Emma's, apparently Danjuma could be out with a foot injury. He didn't train yesterday. I'd probably go for Foden is my preference, but I also like Silva too. Heidel, if we don't use our free transfers, do they go in? No, they don't, Mickey. You can't carry transfers over in the knockout stages of UCL Fantasy. You could in the group stages, though. What do you think of Fabinho and Danjuma to Mane and Rodri? I wouldn't get rid of Fabinho, Terence. I prefer Fabinho over Rodri. I'm guessing the reason why you're doing that is in order to get Mane because you've already got enough Liverpool players. And in that case, yes, I would do it. But if you could afford to keep Fabinho, I would definitely do so. I think he's better than Rodri in UCL Fantasy. Caledon, I just don't think Mane's a better option than Salah. And also, if Liverpool get a penalty, he's going to be on them so long as he's on the pitch. So, yeah, not for me. And also, I just think that's a luxury transfer. I would rather focus my transfers on positions like Danjuma, who might not start, Robertson, and a few others like Diaz potentially, where they may not even be in the starting 11. Welcome, Siddiq. Would we prefer Cancelo plus Real, Canate, Robertson, Trent defenders, or punt on Villarreal with Cancelo, Van Dijk, Robertson and Trent? I would rather go for the first set of players, Zan. So I'd go for Cancelo plus a Real defender and Canate, Robertson, Trent, rather than what you propose in the other one. Although both are good, but I would rather go for the Madrid and City defender there in Cancelo. If you want an extra 0.7 million, just take off Militao and bring in Nacho. You will get your 0.8 million. Yeah, that's a good point as well. I don't think either one of them is a great option anyway. I just had them for the coverage of Real Madrid clean sheet just in case they kept one. And to be honest, I don't really expect that to be the case even in the second leg, despite the fact that they're at home. But that's a good suggestion, and I'll consider it. But once again, it's all dependent on the Liverpool lineup as well. And then I'll start to think about what I'm going to do in the end. Do you prefer Mahrez over Foden if you had the money? Yes, I think I would, as I discussed in my Limitless team. Choose one between Foden, Mahrez, Bernardo Silva. If you have enough money, I would go for Mahrez, but all three are quite similar level. Alaba is benched and Nacho will start. Yes, I don't think Alaba's going to start, and that's pretty much what I referred to just now. Obviously, you put this comment even before I said that, so yeah, we're on the same page there. I have Mahrez over Foden every day. Yeah, same here, Zan. I believe so too. I'm honestly hoping Jota plays over Diaz because then I'll have enough to get Cancelo. Yeah, that also does help me slightly. And also, I think Jota's a better fantasy option. I think he's a better goal scorer than Diaz. He's got better underlying stats as well. So I would rather Jota be a starter and be able to get him, and he's also slightly cheaper. So I agree. First season for both FPL and UCL. Thanks for the content and help this season. Thank you, Seth. Hopefully you're enjoying it. That's the main thing. And thank you very much. Hopefully you are enjoying it. Setting your own targets and reaching them. But ultimately, enjoyment is the main thing for me. Which goalkeeper would you favour in the final, assuming it's Man City Liverpool? Honestly, Harry, I probably would favour Liverpool. I think they've got all the momentum, and even though City are arguably better defensively overall, especially over the last few seasons, I would argue that Alisson and Liverpool would have a better chance of winning the final. But either way, it could be Real Madrid instead of City. I think that's the big doubt I have in terms of the semis. Welcome, Kaflo. Thank you very much for tuning in. Hi, Dylan. I still have the Limitless. Play this game week or save for the final. If you have a lot of fires to put out, then yeah. If you have a lot of fires to put out, then that's an interesting one. But otherwise, if you're happy with your team heading into Matchday 12, I don't think it really matters too much which Matchday you use it. If you're asking me, without knowing your team, I'd say Matchday 12 is my preference, but I could be wrong, and it's ultimately a team-dependent question. Diaz or Jota for Vinicius? Just wait for the lineups, because if I say, for example, Diaz, and then in 15 minutes we found out that Jota starts, there was no need to make an early transfer. So I prefer Diaz because I think he's more likely to start. However, if he doesn't, then of course you would just go for Jota, whoever starts from the two. What about Modric? Do you think worth changing him for someone else? I don't think so. I think he's probably Madrid's second best asset, or even third, behind Benzema and arguably Courtois. I think Modric is one of the best UCL Fantasy assets as well, and he's very consistent with the points. Yes, he blanked in the last match day, but he's a quality player, and he could make the difference for Los Merengues. Yeah, some of these questions we've answered before, like Drago's best Madrid defender. To simplify it, I would say Militao or Ferland Mendy, with Militao being my favourite because of ball recoveries. Luca, I answered your question already, I think, but I'll try to answer again. Hopefully it's a different one. I think it might be. Foden, Konate and Ederson in for Courtois, Foden and Danjuma. Yes, I like the look of that. Probably might lock in these transfers. I wouldn't lock it in just yet because you never know. What if Matip starts? Konate might have had a knock or something. So I would just wait for the Liverpool lineup first. And if he starts, then yes, I'd go ahead with it, Luca. I think that's fine. I've got 2 injuries, Alaba and Stones. What to do with my third transfer? Looking at your team, basically, if Robertson or Diaz doesn't start Bridgerton, just basically get rid of them. So you could do Diaz to Jota, for example, if that kind of falls under that way. And if not, it could be Robertson to Konate, for example. Christos puts his team. What is your opinion? As much as Rodrigo is an interesting differential, I would rather have Vinicius. Maybe you can't afford it, which is fair enough. But if you can, I would go for Vinicius over Rodrigo. Also, keep an eye on who starts for Liverpool. So if Diaz doesn't start, you can make a change there too. I like your midfield, although I think you're missing KDB, Christos. I think he is the main, jigsaw, the missing jigsaw. The rest is really good though. Thank you, Mohammed. Actually, I would go to Vinicius or Jota if Robertson is lined up. Yes, if Robertson is there, then I would get I'd look to get one of those players instead, especially if Diaz is benched. Should I get Mahrez and do wildcard and might get Militao? Look, it's a bit of a tricky question to answer because typically I'm not a big fan of wildcarding in the second leg of a competition because you would rather use it in heading into match day 13 in this case. Because once again you could maybe stack up on City players and then Madrid go on and win the game, and then you have to make a lot of transfers and you're not in an ideal situation. So I'm not sure what your team is like, Manish, but I would guess that matchday 13 is best for most people, and I could be wrong about that. Bournemouth versus Nottingham Forest is where it's at tonight, predicting 0-0 in Spain tonight. 0-0, Liverpool not scoring. Wow, I mean that's a bold prediction. You might be right, and you may end up winning the predictor if you play that. I just can't see Villarreal keeping a clean sheet. Will you transfer out Danjuma? I've discussed this before. So if you see on screen, Danjuma isn't there, and he would be making way for Foden or Bernardo Silva. So if he's starting, then I wouldn't mind keeping him. But yes, I am considering getting rid of him, and I talked about this in my team selection as well. Thank you, Henry. And yes, joy to make these deadline streams as well. And there's plenty more for F1 Fantasy as well during the summer if you play that, and also FPL. So I think there's another Saturday deadline in Premier League. So yeah, we'll be back there as well. Mahrez or Foden? Once again, I'd go for Mahrez if you can afford it. Free transfer plan says Diaz, Mane to Thiago, Ramos to Vinicius, or maybe upgrade Jesus to Benzema instead. Yes, I would do Jesus to Benzema if you can. I'm not sure about Mane to Thiago, but if that's to fund the Jesus to Benzema move, fair enough. But I honestly don't think that's the way to go. I honestly would try to keep Mane in that case and try to find another way of funding Jesus to Benzema. Valverde, 0 goals, 1 assist in La Liga. Not that good of a differential. I agree, Hugo. Valverde is kind of a box-to-box player. He's more known for his defensive responsibilities. Whenever I watched him for Uruguay and Real Madrid, and I just don't really see the hype in UCL Fantasy, honestly. I prefer Casemiro once again for ball recoveries, and I ultimately think Fabinho's the best ball recoverer in the midfield. Who to captain between Mane and Salah? Assuming both of them start, I'd still go for Salah. But there is more of a possibility of Mane being benched today, although he might still start. Hi, Dylan, watching from Zimbabwe. Best Alaba and Danjuma replacements. Thank you, Elliot. And I would probably... So, the usual suspects, we're talking about KDB, Salah, Mane. I think they're the 3 best midfielders, but you might not be able to afford all 3 whilst having a good squad. So, other options to consider are Mahrez, Foden, Bernardo Silva, I think. And I might be missing someone. Yes, Fabinho as well, especially if it enables you to get an upgrade in the attack, like Benzema in for Jesus, as Diaz said earlier. So those are the midfielders I'd look at. Also Modric, if you don't have him. I really like Modric. As for Alaba replacements, I would look at Konate Robertson, Trent, Van Dijk, any of them, if you can afford it, and if you have, a slot left for a Liverpool player. Another player to consider as well is obviously Cancelo, who's now back from suspension. Diaz, Laporte, even Walker could be worth considering. And if you want a like-for-like replacement, I would probably consider Militao or Ferland Mendy, Elliot. But ultimately, I just don't know who you have or don't have already, so it's quite tough for me to narrow it down a lot, because you may have the player that I suggest in the end. Would you play your limitless now? I don't think it makes too much of a difference, Mark, but it depends on your team. And if you have a lot of eliminations already and you're struggling to get to a starting 11 or a team that you're happy with, then I would play it now, for sure. Are Robertson to Konate and Foyth to Militao good transfers? Yes, if Robertson doesn't start Drago, I think that's a really good set of transfers. Welcome, Alex. I'm doing well. What about you? Thank you very much. Downgrade Modric to Casemiro in order to upgrade Estupiñán for Militao, Konate. I would rather go for Konate than Militao. And, Estupiñán is a good, option. He gets ball recoveries. He's got attacking threat. Obviously, very unlucky to get the own goal last week. That was a bit of a disaster. But, yes, I think that's a decent set of transfers. But ultimately, I think Modric is worth the extra money over Casemiro. So, yeah. If that's your only way of getting Konate in for Estupiñán, I would do it. Will Diego Jota start today? I personally don't think so. I share the Anfield Watch's view that it will be Diaz, Salah, Mane. I could be wrong though, and we're going to find out in a few minutes anyway, unless the lineup's already out, and I'll probably check actually. So yeah, we've got almost 200 people watching. Let's get to 100 likes. We can definitely do that. Thank you very much. And be sure to subscribe as well if you are new around here. Hit the notification bell so you never miss a single upload or stream. We've got plenty more, even during the summer when the football is over, with F1 Fantasy. And there'll probably be World Cup Fantasy content as well in November when that starts. So it's non-stop basically. Vinicius or Jota? I actually prefer Vinicius, but if Jota starts, you could argue he's the better option this week specifically. Generally, though, based on my assumptions of who starts and doesn't, I would go for Vinicius, Hugo. Yeah, Bridgerton, I already answered your question. What do you think about Coquelin? Not a bad choice, but once again, I would rather turn to Fabinho or even Rodri for the ball recoveries. Can you afford the following if you prefer Mahrez over Foden? Danjuma for Mahrez, Diaz for Cancelo, and Robertson for Tsimikas. I think I probably could. Let me check it out, but thank you for the suggestions. I appreciate you taking the time to do that. Once again, though, my kind of gripe with getting Tsimikas is that if he starts today, that's great. He could do very well, but I would then possibly want to get rid of him ahead of the final, especially if I want to fund other moves. So that is something that isn't ideal, but definitely I think I could maybe afford this. So let's do Foden. Yeah, I think I could do this. Oh no, 0.2 million off. So yeah, unless I got rid of Trent instead of Diaz, but I wouldn't do that. So yeah, I'm 0.2 million off. Otherwise, that's a really good set of suggestions. So thank you very much. But yeah, unfortunately, I'm not able to afford that. Otherwise, that would give me another headache to deal with. So maybe that's a blessing in disguise, potentially. But I do like those transfer plans. That's really good and well thought out. So thank you very much. I'm going to go back to Foden. Although, let's put a poll out. We love our polls on this channel, as I always say. So which City midfielder do you prefer? I'm not going to include KDB because I think he's kind of on his own level there. So which City midfielder do you prefer? I'm going to keep it simple for now. Between two similarly priced assets, but then we can stretch it out to the likes of Mahrez, etc. So we're putting Foden versus Bernardo. Be sure to vote in the poll, and also if you've got any other polls you want answered, like for example the best captaincy between Salah and Mane today, or KDB and Benzema tomorrow, because there won't be a stream tomorrow in order to answer that question, then we can put it today as well. I'm seeing a 3-1 Villarreal win. My predictions are never wrong. Wow, I mean, if that happens, then football is absolutely crazy. But either way, Liverpool could go for on penalties or something. But yeah, that should be interesting. Would you place Jesus with a Liverpool forward? No, because I don't see... I could be wrong, by the way. I don't think that Diaz, Jota and Salah all start, as well as Mane. Maybe Mane is benched, actually, to be fair. And if that's the case, then I would consider it, yes. Yeah, potentially. But if that's not the case, then, there's no point with me getting Jota, for example. I've already got Diaz. Hey, I'm still left with a limitless. When should I use it? It's very hard for me to answer these questions when I don't know your team, really. But I would probably use it now, if it was me. But my team is probably different to yours. What's Alaba's chances of playing? Well, according to reports, Jack, apparently he is not going to start. And he wasn't in condition to do so last week as well. So 72% of you going with Foden. That's quite interesting. Jack says, yeah, I would transfer him out if you can. But I wouldn't do it for a hit, Jack. Greetings. Have a big green arrow, lad. Thank you, Damantis. Hopefully I got your name right as well. Likewise to you. You're having an incredible season, and good luck with your goals as well. Thank you, Bridgerton. Always tries to answer everyone's questions, unlike others. Well, the thing is, it's quite a difficult thing to kind of throw at people, because some have like thousands of comments coming in, and sometimes, when that's happened to me in the past, I find it very difficult to keep on top of it. I try my best, but I'm sure everyone does try. There might be the odd person out there that isn't like that, but I'm pretty sure the majority, if not all, of the content creators try to answer as many questions as possible. But thank you very much for your kind words. Foden or Thiago? I'd rather go for Foden, mate, honestly. Captain Mane, fair enough. Yeah, I'll probably put a poll out later to see that. Mane seemingly on better form than Salah. Consider captaining Mane over Salah. Yes, look, if I had Mane, I would consider it. And, why not go different? You've always got KDB or Benzema tomorrow to change the captaincy to. What if Villarreal win? Then I'm screwed, basically. But I wouldn't mind, Even if my UCL Fantasy team is in the mud as a result, I like underdogs winning. So I wouldn't mind that. I actually could see Diaz, Jota and Salah as the free tonight. Yeah, true. I kind of corrected myself mid-sentence when I was answering that. That's a good suggestion made by the viewer earlier. I could do that and get Jota in for Jesus. And if both of them start, then yes, I would consider it. That's a really good point. Bernardo Silva and Phil Foden poll is a must now. Yeah, wow, you've pretty much read my mind, and I ended up doing it. And I think you said it even before I put it out. So, oh yeah, don't worry. Anyone who's saying why Tsimikas, I was basically testing out some transfer plans that someone suggested to me, the very kind sir that suggested some transfers. I'm not looking to get Tsimikas in, to be quite honest with you, but it is looking likely that Tsimikas could get a game, whether it's now, today, against Villarreal, or maybe in double gimmick 36 in FPL. What I'm looking to do with my own team is possibly get rid of either Robertson or Diaz, depending on who starts or not for Liverpool. And if both of them start, and Jota starts as well, for example, then I could do Jesus to Diego Jota. So I'm keeping my options open, but ultimately what I'm looking to do is getting Phil Foden or Bernardo Silva in for Danjuma, especially if the Dutchman doesn't start today, and he's got a foot injury, so that is likely. And I can get Joao Cancelo in for Ruben Diaz. Lineups ready. Okay, thank you very much. We'll go through this. So let's take our time. Diaz benched. Okay, there we go. That makes things simple. But yeah, let's look at the lineups first. So thank you very much to everyone. So yes, the lineups. Let's read Villarreal's first, since they're the home team. So Rulli in goal, Foyth, Albiol, Pau Torres, Estupiñán, Lo Celso, Capoue, Parejo, and Coquelin. Dia and Moreno, no Danjuma in the starting 11. I'll check the bench very shortly to see if he's there. As for Liverpool, Alisson, Robertson starts, Van Dijk, Konate and Trent, Thiago, Fabinho and Naby Keita, Mane, Jota and Salah. I think this might be the earliest that I do transfers, by the way, because typically people have this kind of assumption that I leave it until the last minute, or maybe it's a fact, to be fair, but not to throw people off. It's basically because I'm overcomplicating and overthinking things. So let's check the substitutions. Is Danjuma at least there? So Asenjo, Jorgensen, Gaspar, Mandi, Oria, Iborra, Chukwueze, Trigueros, Pedraza, Alcacer, Peña and Gomez. No Danjuma. That is a big blow for Villarreal's hopes. Danjuma has probably been their best Champions League player this season. As for Liverpool, they've got Kelleher, Gomez, Tsimikas, Matip, Milner, Henderson, Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, Jones, Elliott, Minamino, Diaz and Origi. So there we go. Diaz is benched for Diego Jota, and I think that has basically made the transfers for me. I don't think it's worth getting rid of Robertson, for example, at this point. So what I'm looking to do is Diaz out for Jota. Let me know in the live chat, by the way, if you agree with that transfer, and would you go for maybe Bernardo instead of Foden or someone else? I've got exactly enough money to make these three transfers. So Joao Cancelo in for Ruben Diaz, Foden in for Danjuma, who's not in the squad today, and also Diego Jota in for Diaz. The Colombian is benched. So we've gone through the lineup, and let me know what you think of it. Should be very interesting. I'm going to try to possibly scroll up if possible and answer any questions that I may have missed, but I can't guarantee anything. Mahrez or Bernardo Silva? I would go for Mahrez. If you can afford it. Benzema, Mane, captain. So just to make this very clear, hopefully you're still in the chat, do not captain someone who plays on the Wednesday. And the reason why is because you can change captaincy and substitutions from the Tuesday and the Wednesday. So captain someone playing today, go for Mane, Salah, Jota, Trent, Robertson, whoever you want. And if they don't do that well, or you want more points from your captain, after the game is done and before the next game begins on the Wednesday, you can change the captain as well as bring players off your bench who are playing on the Wednesday on for those who have already played on the Tuesday. Hopefully that's very clear. If you are unclear or anything, check out my How to Play UCL Fantasy video. I cover everything in great detail and everything is covered. All the rules, even, these kind of minuscule changes they've made, such as, Fellaini Mendy passing the ball to Vinicius for him to score a solo goal. That doesn't count as an assist now for Fellaini Mendy. I've covered everything there, so be sure to check that out. Going to Salah over Mane for captain. Buena suerte, Dion. Likewise, Ruben. Buena suerte y todo lo mejor para tu equipo y disfruta el Champions League como siempre. Muchas gracias. Modric versus Mahrez. I think if you can afford it, I'd still go for Mahrez, but I like both. Yeah, we've gone through the lineups already, so I'm not gonna I'm not gonna read those messages out basically. Yep, Jota starts. It's crazy, isn't it? Yeah, the lineup is already out, Archie. It's already out. Yeah, Danjuma doesn't start. He's not in the squad at all, Andre. So yeah. Let's see what else we have. Dylan, here's another good suggestion. That you should be able to lock it in if you prefer to get Mahrez. Danjuma for Mahrez, Diaz for Cancelo, Foy for Robertson. Yeah, it's good suggestions. I just don't see a Villarreal clean sheet personally, and maybe I'm going to miss a trick there. And it's a good set of suggestions, but I don't think I'm going to go there. But obviously, I appreciate you taking the time to suggest some things. It's quite rare for people to do that, and I much appreciate it. But I think after the lineups are out, looking at this, I probably will go for Foden, Jota, and Cancelo coming in. No love being shown for Bernardo in the poll, yeah. But to be fair though, Bernardo's so explosive. That's what I would say that he has over Foden, in UCL Fantasy at least. He can get like a goal or an assist, maybe both rolled into one game, and get the Man of the Match award. So that's what he's got. So yeah, we'll go through the last few messages basically. So we've kind of already gone through everything. Welcome, Andres. Jota or Jesus? I probably would say Jota at this point in time, yeah. ¿Algún cambio de opinión para los 11 de Limitless? Creo que sí, Díaz sería el jugador que tendría que cambiar. Entonces podemos poner a Diego Jota, por ejemplo. Creo que todo lo demás está bien, porque Robertson, por ejemplo, él está jugando, así que no hay una razón por la cual que lo tenés que sacar de tu equipo. Así que para mí, el único cambio que haría es Diego Jota para Luis Díaz. What else do we have? I have Danjuma and Diaz. Will I use Limitless? If you've already made your free transfers and those two are out, then yes, I would use the Limitless. Either way, I probably would use the Limitless now, but that's my team and it might not be the same for you. No point of transferring out Foyth now. For who though, Drago? Who could you be able to afford with that money? Should I pick Vinicius or Jesus for Limitless team? I'd probably go for Vinicius. I favour him slightly more because he's at home. Imagine spending all morning wondering how Klopp roulette will go and suddenly Danjuma is the one being benched. Yeah, but to be fair, Santiago, this is something that's been discussed in recent days as well. And Liverpool have been... look, I'm not saying they're winning the games because of this, but their opponents recently have had a lot of injuries. And Danjuma, once again, that's crazy. That's a huge blow. That I just don't see a way Villarreal will go through. And obviously, football's crazy. Anything can happen. Liverpool beat Barcelona without Salah and Mane, for Christ's sake, and they made a huge comeback. But that's crazy. Modric or Foden? I think for the home leg, I'd probably go for Modric, but both of them are good. ¿Por qué Jota en lugar de Díaz? Y porque Jota, mira, cuando juega hace goles. Eso es la cosa. Y para mí es mejor goleador que Luis Díaz y ofrece algo distinto. Y Liverpool quizás va a estar un poquito más defensivo en este partido y necesitan un definidor. Y Díaz no es malo, pero para mí Diego Jota es un poquito mejor. Así que no sé, puede ser eso. Obviamente Klopp va a tener muchas razones por lo cual que hizo eso, mucho más sofisticado de lo que dije yo, pero sí, yo no creo que es un mal cambio para mí. Mendy or Militao? I'd probably go for Militao because of the ball recoveries, but Mendy, of course, as demonstrated, has the better assist threat. Diaz to Jota, Bernardo to Foden, Kante to Capu. No Liverpool or City spots left. Yeah, fair enough, Tiger. I think that's a good set of transfers. I like it a lot, mate. And Bernardo to Foden could come back to bite you, but to be honest, I do prefer Foden, so I like those transfers, to be fair. Bernardo Silva, Foden. I mean, I personally prefer Foden, but Bernardo's got more points this season, so there's different ways you can spin it, but I prefer Foden, and 70% of you agree, and you've gone for him, which is crazy. I didn't expect it to be that far out. I thought it would be like 54% or maybe 60% Foden, not 70%. I have Mahrez and Bernardo Silva. Worth bringing in Foden? I think it's still worth it, but ultimately, Nahian, if you can, go for De Bruyne. I think he's one of the best assets. You know, if I had to make a ranking of like the best UCL fantasy assets, it would probably be, you know, Benzema, De Bruyne, and Cancelo, Trent, etc. Like they would be my top 5. Maybe Salah as well. So honestly, yeah, I think I would go for De Bruyne if you can. Vinicius or Jesus? I'd go for Vinicius. Yeah, man, it's just a good team. Yeah, Benzema for Haaland, that's an easy move, definitely. Going to get Konate and Cancelo for Kimmich and Alaba. Yes, your team's looking good, mate. I'm not sure what the rest of your team is, but you know, I wouldn't take huge hits to have a good 50-man squad, basically. As long as you have a good starting 11 and 1 or 2 decent options on the bench, you should be fine. Yeah, Aiden, I went through your team already, mate. And yeah, Thiago and Stones I would get rid of. It looks like Stones will probably not feature tomorrow, and I think I already made this clear. And you've got Danjuma and Diaz, yeah, fair enough. I would do Diaz to Jota. I would do Danjuma to Foden or Bernardo. Take your pick there. And I would also, get rid of one of your defenders and make a change there and possibly get Konate, Aiden. So that's pretty much all I can say, And also, I think you are missing KDB, and I've mentioned this before to you as well. Captain Jota or Mane? I'd be actually quite tempted by Jota, to be fair. I'm actually quite tempted, but I think I'd still go for Sadio Mane. Alaba won't be in the squad. Yeah, fair enough. He was in the preliminary squad from what I saw from Real Madrid's Twitter, but yes, I don't expect him to start anyway. Vinicius or Jesus? I've been asked this quite a lot, actually. I'd probably just say Vinicius this week. Are you keeping Fabinho or getting Mane? I just don't really see a need for that. If I could afford it, then yes, definitely, but I can't. And I would have to take multiple hits in order to make that work or get rid of someone like Salah. Not for me. Hi, Dylan. Who's most likely to keep a clean sheet? I would argue still Liverpool. For me, it's Liverpool. Yeah, Mane is starting. Yes, he is. Jota, Vinicius Jr. I'd go for Jota this week. Edison and Go on my team, yeah, that's fine. I think he's good. Stones to Militao, yeah. I already have Cancelo and Laporte and have 6 City players now, and Danjuma to Foden, or Stones to Diaz and Danjuma to Real Madrid player. You could do Stones to Diaz, Mickey, and also Danjuma to Modric. Otherwise, just go for the first set of transfers you said. Yeah, Isham, I don't... Like I said in my pinned comment, try not to spam the chat. There's no need for that, and I already said my feelings on it. I prefer Modric for this match day, but try not to spam the chat, otherwise you're going to get banned by a moderator. Mahrez or Foden? Mahrez if you can afford it. Jota and Carvajal, Ferland Mendy, or Vinicius Jr. and Nacho Foyth. I'd go for Jota and Ferland Mendy if you can do that, Bridgerton. Robertson or Van Dijk? Para mí, Ramiro, yo pondría Robertson. After Diaz, Jota confirmation, forget all my previous suggestions. No, they're good suggestions anyway, and one of them still made sense, actually. Best to do what you're doing, bringing Mahrez, Cancelo, and Jota for Danjuma, Diaz, and Diaz. No doubt about this. Captaincy, Salah, and Benzema. Yes, I think I'd go the same. I would still consider Kevin De Bruyne, but I think I would be inclined to agree there. Would Jesus start tomorrow, though? Yes, I think he will, but I'm not exactly sure about that. And yes, once again, I agree. I think Vinicius Jr. is just more nailed on, and he's at home, so I think he's just a safer and probably a better pick this week than Gabriel Jesus. Foden versus Modric. I've answered this question already, Jung. Hopefully you got the answer there. Just don't want to repeat myself for everyone watching and try to cover different questions and topics. Diaz to Jota, Diaz to Cancelo, and Edison to Becker. I like those, Hugo. I completely agree. I would do it, yep. And it's similar to what I'm looking to do myself. From Jesus, Diaz, and Vinicius to Benzema, Jota, and Vinicius Jr. Yes. Oh, wait, I'm Bini. Who's Bini? Maybe I'm getting that wrong. But Benzema and Jota, yes, definitely, Bruno. Good evening to you as well, Aranya. Thank you very much. Danjuma to a 7.3 million midfielder. You don't really have much to choose from, to be quite frank. You could maybe go for a Villarreal midfielder. Maybe, Coquelin or someone like that. Or I'm forgetting the other name, actually. But yeah, someone else you can consider, just someone like Fabinho, Emaz. Yeah, Fabinho would be my top pick. Is Walker fit? Yes, he's been in training. We covered this earlier. Everyone for City is available except for John Stones. Yeah, that comeback against Barca. Look, as much as Liverpool were fantastic that day, I think Barca bottled it. And for example, Suarez, Jordi Alba, Coutinho, they missed sitters and they should have punished Liverpool, in my opinion. Militao, Liverpool defender, easily Liverpool defender. What do you think about Captain Robertson and Konate? I like it. In UCL Fantasy, you can go a bit different because you've always got that extra captaincy to lie on. So yeah, I like it. Captain for today, I think I'd go for Salah, but I am tempted by maybe a defender punt or maybe Jota, but I'd probably go for Salah. Why do you prefer Foden over Mahrez? I never said that, mate. The reason why I'm going for Foden is because I can't afford Mahrez. So if you see my transfer plans, for example, I've got 0 million in the bank. I can't afford magically 1.2 million more for Mahrez, and I don't think it's worth a -4 hit to get Mahrez instead of Foden and also downgrade someone else in order to facilitate that. So I prefer Mahrez actually, but I just can't afford him. That's basically it. Van Dijk to Cancelo, yes, I think I would still do that despite Liverpool arguably having a better chance for a clean sheet. Diaz to Laporte, if you can afford it, I'd go for Diaz, but I just think Laporte's cheaper. He's got better goal threat, and he's been very consistent throughout the knockout stages. So look, it's very 50-50, but just because of price, I guess I go for Laporte. It just depends on your value, your team value, if you can afford Diaz, etc. There's not much of a difference. And also what I like about Laporte is he's slightly, his percentage of ownership is slightly lower, and I like that. Thank you, Mandip. Robertson or Konate? I'd still go for Robertson, Marcelo. Vinicius or Jota? Jota this week for me. Best replacement for Danjuma? I've got Mahrez, KDB, Salah, Modric. Great question. Yeah, it's going to be very popular this week. You've already got, in my opinion, the best midfielders apart from Mane. So if you can't afford Mane, Mohamed, I would go for Foden or Bernardo Silva. Would you say getting rid of Alaba for a hit is worth it? It's only worth a hit, I think, if you're going to Robertson, Van Dijk, Konate, Trent or Cancelo. I don't really think the rest would be worth it, basically. Midfielders for Limitless team, I covered this in the video. Not much, if anything, has changed, really. I don't think anything would have changed. So the only thing that would have been a difference, actually, is Diaz. He'd make way for Diego Jota. Who are your picks for today? I'm not sure what you mean by that. In terms of who do I think is going to perform the best today, I'd probably say Salah, Mane, Jota. And yeah, I'd probably just highlight the defenders. So Konate, Trent and Robertson. I think they will be the best players today. Is it lagging? Thank you for bringing it to my attention. Yeah, I'm not sure. It was kind of an issue, apparently. I'm not sure in the last stream, but yeah, there's not much I can do about that. Salah or Mane captain? I would go for Salah personally. Could we run a poll on Van Dijk plus Bernardo or Foden plus Konate? Looks like this. A lot of users are in the same predicament. Let me just reassess that again. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, why not? I like putting polls out and helping people out, so fair enough. Yeah, I'll do that. Let me just copy your question basically and make sure. So, which duo do you prefer? If you've got any other polls that you want answered, and yeah, just put that in the live chat. Just don't spam it, and it could feature, and it can help you with your decision making potentially. So, which duo do you prefer, Van Dijk and Bernardo or Foden and Konate? If you want my opinion on it, mate, I think it's really close, but I would go for Foden and Konate, but both really good. Trent for captaincy, I like it, Luca. I don't know if I'm going to go there, but I really like it. Best 5.7 million defender, I had Stones. I need to double check this. So, yeah, I think Laporte. Laporte for me is the best one. And Konate, yeah. Konate, then Laporte. Yeah, hopefully that answers your question. Konate, Van Dijk, for me, Konate. What else do we have? I can only choose between Trent, Konate, or Van Dijk, Jota. Thanks. Only one. Oh, as a duo. Yeah, Trent and Konate for me. Although I do like Jota. Get Foden for Bernardo Silva or Vinicius for Jesus, or keep Jesus and Bernardo Silva. I would get Vinicius for Jesus. Yes, I think that is the move, potentially, Vincent, although it's very close and either one could backfire. Yeah, Mohammed, I think I went through your team already. So after the lineups, I think Diaz to Jota is an easy move. The other thing you could do is... Do you have Danjuma? No, you don't. So you don't really need to make another transfer potentially. So how many Liverpool players do you have? You've got Trent, Robertson, Salah, Mane, that's 4. You've got Diaz and you've got Fabinho. So you've got 6 Liverpool players already. You don't have... I'd possibly consider Laporte for Militao if you want to make a transfer, or Alisson for Edison Mohamed. So that's the other transfers you could do. Otherwise, for me, the simple one is Diaz to Jota. You don't have to force the other ones though. Which 2 seat midfielders are Bernardo Silva, Mahrez and Foden? For me, Mahrez and Foden. Thank you, Peter Peters. No problem. 66% are going with what I said, which is surprising, but there you go. Maybe I shouldn't have said anything. I'm not saying that my opinion would have been that influential in that, but maybe it's just common, the common consensus, should we say, the consensus. Ramos to Diaz, Diaz to Vinicius, Modric to Thiago, Keita. I can't afford Benzema. mate, I think that's a big shame because Benzema for me is probably one of the best captaincy options this week. I would rather do Diaz to Vinicius and Modric to... Is that Thiago? Yeah, I'd probably do that. I'd actually rather go for Keita. I think he's got more attacking threat. ¿A quién elegirías? ¿Vinicius o Diego Jota? Para mí, Fernando, como dije antes, pondría a Diego Jota. Para mí tiene mejor chances de hacer un gol que Vinicius Jr., pero los dos son muy buenos en esta jornada de partidos. Mane or Mahrez, I would go for Mane this week if you can afford it. Vinicius, Alisson, Casemiro, or Jota, Edison, Modric. I would probably go for Jota, Edison, and Modric, Henry, but both are really good trios. Silva o Sterling para mañana, gracias. Para mí Silva, porque no sé si va a jugar Sterling y para mí es demasiado plata o dinero para gastar en un jugador que quizá no va a jugar. Por ese precio puedes poner a Kevin De Bruyne, Mohamed Salah y Sadio Mané. Para mí ellos son mucho mejor que Raheem Sterling y también tiene una historia Raheem Sterling de fallar en los momentos claves para Manchester City en la Champions. Así que para mí pondría a Bernardo Silva, que cuesta menos dinero y también es mejor para los... figura del partido, puede acumular puntos por eso, así que para mí es Bernardo Silva. What do you think about Capoue? Yeah, he's the one I was forgetting. Thank you very much for reminding me. He's not bad, but I just think Fabinho and Rodri are better, personally. What happened with Danjuma? He's got a foot injury. He didn't train yesterday as well. Yeah, Danjuma's out. He's not in the bench even. Capitán Estupiñán y que sea lo que Dios quiera. Sos de Ecuador, Daniel, pero buena suerte y... saber que me gustaría si Estupiñán sacaría buenos puntos, pero no sé si va a pasar, pero buena suerte, mate. How about Konate and Silva? Is that yeah, look, that's fine as well, rock and roll. That's fine. Only one Liverpool spot left. Konate for Carvajal or swap Edison for Alisson? I would swap Konate for Carvajal, Ricardo. Best defender up to 5.4 million. That's a more difficult question. I would have to double check that. It'd probably be a Villarreal one. Let me double check that for you. So let's answer this. If everyone's got an opinion on that, be sure to let him know as well. So I think... Yeah, there's not many options, is there? From Villarreal, I'd probably go for Foyth or Estupiñán. Otherwise, yeah, around that price, by the way. Otherwise, it's kind of, yeah, there's no one really that stands out. Maybe Ake, but he's also got an injury problem, although he's now in training. The only one that's a big problem for City is John Stones. Nacho, actually. Yeah, I'd probably say Nacho would be my top pick, although -1 points in Matchday 11, that is crazy. But maybe he's the best one. There's not really too many to choose from. Hi, Dylan. Foden or Silva? I've answered this already. I'd go for Foden. Yeah, I'm not going to answer that question again because I've kind of gone through it already. Dylan, will the free transfers carry over? No, Kay. No, they won't. They don't carry over. Jesus or Jota? I'd go for Jota. Do you think Jesus will start? Yes, I think so, but I'm not completely sure about it. Captain tonight, I think I'd go for Salah, but Trent, Robertson, even Konate, Jota, Mane are great options too. I don't think there's a clear favourite. Jaja, lo de Estupiñán. También soy de Ecuador, pero no tan fanático. Sí, es un jugador muy raro, Estupiñán. Es muy bueno físicamente, es muy rápido y es fuerte, pero a veces manda algunas cagadas. Me acuerdo de un partido entre Argentina y Ecuador donde mete una patada a Lucas Ocampos y estoy pensando, ¿por qué hace esto este chabón? Pero bueno, sí, para mí, para poner el capitán a Estupiñán es muy raro, pero bueno, el juego es para hacer cosas distintas. Si no, siempre vamos a poner el capitán a Salah, Benzema, De Bruyne, siempre lo mismo. Jota or Jesus, I'd go for Jota. KDB or Benzema for captain tomorrow? I think I'd go for Benzema. 7.2 million options from Real Madrid, Villarreal. Not really. I'm guessing this is midfield. I'd probably say Casemiro in the midfield. I think Cruz might be a bit more expensive than that, actually. As for Villarreal, it's Capoue, Coquelin, etc. Kind of the same things. Thank you. Greetings from Mexico. Like I always say, my English is definitely better than my Spanish, but I do speak it all the time. So if my Spanish was terrible, then my parents did something wrong, basically. But they didn't, so that's good. Para reducir, Bernardo por Rodri. No es ideal, pero si lo necesitas, sí, vale, pero no es ideal. Vinicius, Alisson, Casemiro, Jota. I answered that question already, Henry. I would go for the second trio. I'd go for Modric, Edison, Jota. No Mane. I just don't really see why I should, destroy my own team structure to get Mane, basically. I can't have everyone. Foden and Coquelin or Silva and Valverde. Foden and Coquelin. Militao or Carvajal? I would go for Militao. Only one transfer carries over, says RB. I will double check that, but as far as I'm aware, no transfers carried over when I check. But maybe you're right. If I'm wrong about that, then I apologise. But when I checked the rules section, I'm pretty sure that's what it said. Do you think Liverpool front three will play 90 minutes looking for captaincy options? No, I think one of them will come off quite early. I'm not sure who. The Estupinian own goal was very unlucky. Yeah, of course it was. No, I'm not going to deny that. But yeah, it's quite funny to see people captaining. I mean, that's quite nice to see, you know, something different, basically. What happened to Mahrez? Nothing. It's just I can't really get... I mean, if you're asking about my team, I just can't get to him. That's basically it. I think Mahrez will start. Would you captain Mane or Jota? I think I'd go for Mane just because he's a midfielder. He gets more points for that. No problem, Henry. No worries. I've got Benzema, Jesus, KDB, Salah, Mane, along with Robertson, Trent, Cancelo, Laporte, and Alisson. Would you do Diaz, Valverde, then Stones to Jota, Foden, and a non-playing fifth defender? Or get Jota, Coquelin, and Diaz? I think considering, you know, my opinion, I don't think there's a outright, you know, favourite to get a clean sheet this week. Last week I said I think Liverpool will get one at Anfield against Villarreal. Even this week, I think Liverpool are the favourites to get a clean sheet, but I'm not that sure. So because of that, I would go for the kind of budget fifth defender and Jota and Foden, Aranya. Make sure you do your predictions. Thank you, Rock and Roll. I appreciate you reminding me because I probably would have forgotten. Looking at the lineups, I think I am going to go possibly for a 2-0 Liverpool win, or I'll just stick with my guns and go 3-1. Let me know, by the way, in the live chat. What do you think the score's going to be for both games? But specifically, obviously, we're looking at this game first. So Villarreal-Liverpool, what is your prediction for that game? Let me know. And who do you think scores first? I'll be very curious to see your thoughts. Mane or Mahrez, once again, if you can afford it, I'd go for Mane. Don't get Jota, trust me on this. I think I'd still get him, though, to be honest. Saludos desde Mexico. I've just changed Diego Jota to Diaz. Great advice. Thank you very much, Isaac. And... look, I always had a doubt about one of Diaz or Robertson not starting. I actually thought Tsimikas could in this case, and in the end he's there, so that's not a problem. I think it's quite a sensible pick, and it might not work out, but Jota's a good option. When he gets those minutes, he does very well. Zinchenko, Laporte, Diaz and Cancelo. Is this the most realistic City backline? Walker's back in training, Pedro, so there is a possibility Cancelo plays as the left back and then Walker's there as the right back. But Laporte, Diaz and Cancelo, I have no doubts that they start. It's just Zinchenko, Walker, but that ultimately depends on Walker's fitness, basically. What would you suggest, Foden and Alisson or KDB and non-playing goalkeeper? Other goalkeeper I have is Edison. That's a great question. I think, look, I like the Foden Alisson one. That's better for your team, your squad depth, should I say. But KDB is so good that I'd rather go for him and the non-playing goalkeeper, I think. Silva and Laporte or Foden and Van Dijk? I would go for... Look, both of them are really good, by the way. I'd probably go for Foden and Van Dijk. Valverde and Konate -4 for Fabinho and Militao. I would only... No, I wouldn't do that. No, Aiden. As much as I think Fabinho is much better than Valverde, I think Konate is much better than Militao. So no, not for me. Who's the best captain? For the first day, probably Salah for me. But there's Mane, Diaz... not Diaz, Jota. Even the defenders offer really good value. So honestly, there's so many. For the second day, I personally think Benzema is just slightly ahead of Kevin De Bruyne in Matchday 12. Yeah, thank you, JKP. Yeah, that's what I think, but maybe I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure transfers don't carry over. I could maybe go through it in the rules section quickly, just to kind of clear any doubts. Maguire. Liverpool 2-0. Yeah, I was thinking that as well. Villarreal 1-0, says Thomas. Fair enough. Jota Salah captain. Kind of similar to what I said before. I think I'd go for Salah still because he's a midfielder and they typically are favoured in these fantasy formats. Hola, Cristian. ¿Vale la pena tener a De Bruyne, Mahrez, Salah y Mané, pero no tener ningún jugador en la banca? ¿Sí que sirve? Creo que sí, vale la pena, pero lo que quieres es tener a alguien en el banco, por lo menos. Así que... Es muy difícil, pero me gusta mucho tener De Bruyne, Mahrez, Salah y Mané. Para mí, esos son los 4 mejores mediocampistas en el juego, pero para mí, mira, hasta si haces Mahrez, hasta Foden o a Modric, puedes mejorar algún jugador en tu banco y tener una opción que juega en el miércoles y lo puedes poner en tu equipo si alguien en el martes no hace un buen trabajo y no acumula muchos puntos. Así que para mí... Puede ser que Mahrez lo puedes sacar y puedes poner a Foden o a Bernardo Silva y tener un jugador por lo menos en el banco que te puede servir. Bernardo Silva, Fabinho. I think in terms of attacking threat, of course, it'll be Bernardo Silva, but I actually prefer Fabinho. I think he's just a better option in general because he's consistently going to get 5 points or above. I could be wrong though. Is Danjuma playing? He's not in the starting 11. He's not in the squad. He's not playing. Jesus or Vinicius? I would go for Vinicius. 3-0 Liverpool, says Matthew Price. Bernardo or Mahrez? I prefer Mahrez. Yeah. Henry says, rate my team. Have an extra transfer. So yeah, your attack is fine. Yeah, you've got Jota as well. That's a really good team. So yeah, Jesus, Benzema, KDB, Salah, Mahrez, Modric, Laporte, Robertson, Trent, Konate, Edison, Rulli, Cancelo, Fabinho, Jota. I'm not a big fan of Rulli, but honestly, I can't really fault that team. So if you have enough money, I'd do Rulli to Alisson, but even then, I think you don't have enough Liverpool spots available to you. So honestly, that's fine. Yep, I'm aware of that, Hamza, sorry. Yep, got a captain Salah because he's on pens. Yeah, and also he's a midfielder. That's pretty much it. And also kind of a, could say, template safe pick. For those of you looking to chase rank, I would highly recommend a Mane, a Diego Jota, or even a Robertson Trent. I think Villarreal will score. Fair enough. Mahrez has a lot more points than KDB. I don't think it's that simple though, mate. And also, KDB didn't play as much in the group stages, and he's come into a life of his own. I mean, look at his form in 2022. He's one of the best players in the world right now. He's got a really big shout for the Ballon d'Or. So yeah, I just think KDB's a better option. And also look at the recent games where Mahrez has blanked and KDB has scored. I don't think it's as simple as that. Mahrez is really good. He's my second favourite City midfielder in UCL Fantasy. But KDB for me is always number one, especially right now. Modric and a 4.5 million defender or Konate and a 7.3 million midfielder. I would rather go for Konate and a 7.3 million midfielder. Nuclear atoms, yep. Thank you, Kat, for the super chat. Much appreciated as always. Thank you very much for all the super chats you send. Howdy from a Brit in Texas. Do you prefer FPL, UCL gameplay and deadlines? That's a great question. Now, I'm doing better in UCL Fantasy. I'm 19k in FPL. I'm 700 or whatever it is in UCL Fantasy. So I am doing better in UCL Fantasy. Maybe that plays a part. I just slightly prefer UCL Fantasy, I think, just because it's a bit more. I'm not sure about luck or skill. That's always going to be a debate to be had. But I like the micromanagement aspect of UCL Fantasy where you can see the deadlines of at least one of the games, and that helps you make informed decisions. And you know, a lot of people get stressed over these fantasy games. I don't per se. Maybe I've done once or twice, but generally I'm quite calm about it. A lot of people do get stressed about, for example, let's say Liverpool are playing in the Premier League right now. They got in Diaz, and then in the end it's him being benched and Jota starts. You know, these kind of decisions are quite stressful for them. Like, I just prefer the UCL Fantasy aspect of it. I like the change in the captaincy and also the chips for me. Very simple, very effective. In FPL, you've got the bench boost, which is quite useless. Apparently, it might, you know, according to a few rumours, it might not be something that happens next season. That might be scrapped. So, look, FPL has a lot going for it that UCL Fantasy doesn't, but also vice versa. I think what really separates it is that in UCL Fantasy, you get a point for every free balls recovered. That means a centre-back like Konate, like Van Dijk, are just as good options, or you've got a debate, you've got a decision to make in order, you know, do I go for Robertson or Van Dijk? You know, that's something you consider in UCL Fantasy. In FPL, it's very simple. If you can afford it, you go for Robertson because of the attacking returns. And also, I think the bonus point system is very flawed in FPL. For example, Iheanacho scored a late goal against Spurs, and then he's on for 2 bonus points. Like, as much as obviously I was happy that Harry Kane didn't get anything, he was more worthy of bonus points than Iheanacho. So, look, there's going to be things that FPL does better than UCL Fantasy. Even the captaincy, you could argue. You know, I think there's an element of skill in, you know, getting one captaincy and getting it right rather than changing it every single day. And, you know, in the group stages, you get up to 4 opportunities. But ultimately, I think I would rather have UCL Fantasy gameplay just about. And the same goes for the deadlines. But both of them very good games. But yeah. All right, relax. We're going to go back to my team. Chill. We've got 37 minutes left anyway. But thank you very much, Kat, once again for your super chat. Is Lo Celso a good option? I really like him as a player, but in UCL Fantasy, I think they might be better. Now, he is technically playing as a kind of second striker, just technically playing as a shadow striker just off the main one. Yeah, he's a decent one, but I don't think I'd go for him. Should I go for Robertson, Trent, Konate and Alisson? Yes, I think that's fine. As long as you have one attacker, maybe a Salah or Mane and a Jota. Jota captain, fair enough. Player most likely to score for Villarreal. I think Chukwueze or Lo Celso. Yeah. Vinicius or Jota? I go for Jota this week. Tiger says rate my team. I think that's fine. I mean, most of these teams are going to be very similar. Yeah, so I'm not sure if you've got any free transfers. Then maybe I could suggest something, but I think that's fine, to be honest. That's really good. I can't really fault it. I can't really pick out too many holes. You got KDB, Salah, Mane, and you got Benzema. So, yeah, that's looking pretty good. Hi, Dylan. I need to pick 2 out of Foden, Mahrez, or Modric. I would personally go for Mahrez and Modric, but I say it reluctantly because Foden could easily outscore the other 2. De Bruyne for Mahrez for a -4? No, I wouldn't take a hit for that either way. Yeah, relax, Nasir. And for those of you that, obviously, I know some people kind of copy teams. I'm not saying you do, but I would highly recommend not doing that and just make your own decisions and your own transfers. So that's all I would recommend. There's not really any fun in copying. This is my team, and I'm probably going to make these transfers. There's nothing really to comment on from before. I said in my team selection, if one of Diaz or Robertson doesn't start, then I'll make a change there. And ultimately, I think I'll go for this. Now, if I could have afforded Vinicius, I would maybe consider going for him than Jota. I'm not too sure about Jota's minutes. He might get 60, 70 and then be hauled off. But yeah, I think I'll go for Jota. His points haven't been great over the course of the season in UCL Fantasy, but generally, when he does get minutes for Portugal and Liverpool, he scores goals. That's pretty much what he does, and I think I will go for him. Now, Rodrigo's an interesting option, but I'm not going to take a hit to get Vinicius Jr., for example. Bernardo Foden's an interesting debate too, but ultimately, I think I'm going to go for Phil Foden. So yeah, we're going to end the poll, by the way. 65% went with the Foden Konate route, so hopefully that helped you, Peter Peters. Let me know in the live chat. Do you want to see any more polls? If you do, then put ahead your questions. But if it's already been answered, then, for example, if we already put the poll out, then there's no need. 7.3 million mid, no Liverpool spots. Let me check Lo Celso's price. Maybe you could go for him, or maybe Coquelin, etc. But yeah, there's not much to choose from. If I'm being honest. Yeah, Cruz is 8.3. Wow, I thought he's like a bit lower than that. Casemiro 7.5. Wow, I remember the days this guy was like 6 million last year. That is crazy. Thiago, you could consider. I think the one I like a little bit actually is Naby Keita. Let me check his price for you. Yeah, Naby Keita could be decent. Naby Keita or Thiago. But then once again, you said you don't have a Liverpool spot, so forget about them. Rodri, he's not bad. I think Rodri, as a ball recoverer, he's not too bad. Not the best. I think Fabinho's better, but yeah, I'd say maybe Rodri. So to simplify it, I would go maybe for a Villarreal midfielder like Lo Celso, or Coquelin, etc. And if not, there's always Rodri. Let me just check Lo Celso, by the way. How are they classified him? Yeah, they classified as a midfielder, 6.8 million. He's the most offensive from Villarreal, so with Danjuma out especially. So yeah, he's an interesting one as well. I'd definitely consider him, but he's not my ideal pick, to be quite frank with you. Casemiro or Cruz? I actually prefer Casemiro. Diaz's bench, should I place Jota or Jesus? Jota for me, Michael. Thiago, Rodri, or, let me get the question up again, or Keita. I think I would go for, this week, I would probably go for Thiago. I'm not a big fan of both of them, though. Yeah, the downside of UCL Fantasy is that we have to wait a super long time until the next game. Yeah, true, but it also gives us a break. FPL is constant, every single week, pretty much, unless there's an international break. There's games, so there's kind of 2 ways you can go about it. But yeah, maybe I'm just biased towards UCL Fantasy. I do like both of them. Sadio Mane, Ballon d'Or. The thing is, though, it's more of an individual award now. I mean, it should have been anyway, but I don't think he deserves it. I mean, based on what we've seen so far, Benzema, for me, is probably the deserving winner. Then you've got a few others. I don't know about Sadio Mane. He's up there, but even De Bruyne I'd probably put over Mane, in my opinion. Hola, ¿cuál será tu equipo? Probablemente va a ser esto, pero como dije en inglés, para mí es mejor que cada uno tiene su propio equipo, sus propias ideas y haga sus decisiones. Pero bueno, cada uno hace lo que quiera y no puedes parar a la gente en copiar y todo eso, pero sí, esto va a ser mi equipo. Maybe Jota versus Vinicius poll. Yeah, that's a good one. That's quite, yeah, exactly. It's been asked quite a lot. So yeah, which forward do you prefer? And maybe we could include Jesus in there as well. Which forward do you prefer? So let's put this poll out. We're not going to put Benzema because he's on another level. Get Benzema if you haven't already, if you can. So Vinicius, Jesus, and Jota. So that is going to be the poll. Let me know what you prefer and if there's any other polls you want. Will Zinchenko play? It might be Walker. I think Cancelo, Diaz, Laporte start, and then it's between Zinchenko and Walker. You're the only standout UCL Fantasy video maker. I'm not going to call myself an expert there. Too good. I'm saying this because I'm an inch ahead of you in FPL, but miles behind in UCL Fantasy. Yeah, well, I wouldn't call it an inch. You're like 3k in FPL, I think you are always saying, which is incredible. I mean, look, UCL Fantasy, I've been consistently in the top 5k when I've played. This is my third season. But look, I wouldn't really say there's expert. Sometimes you're lucky, and it's as simple as that. You're sometimes lucky. Sometimes I made very good decisions and been in poor ranks. Yeah, in other times I've maybe made like a kind of 50-50 call and said, you know what, screw it. I'm just going to try my luck. And then in the end, I actually get the benefit of the luck. So yeah, it's quite a difficult one. I'm pretty sure if I was like around, outside the top 100k, people would call me, I've got these comments before in like FPL, for example, like, why are you making videos if you're in such a rank? Well, because we enjoy the game pretty much. So I don't think rank is the be all and end all. And you can be a very good player or manager and get a bad rank, for example, and vice versa. That's the way I see it. Fair enough. Wasting says Vinicius Jr. Foden or Mahrez. We've answered this question already a lot, so try not to spam the chat, please. Just answer it once. I prefer Mahrez if you can afford it, yes. Hazard could have been such a good option, yeah, I agree. I mean, it's been a shame. I didn't expect him to flop that badly. He was incredible at Chelsea, and I remember for Belgium, he was arguably the best player in the tournament in the last World Cup, so it's a big shame, yeah. Jota Vinicius. Jota for me, looking at this match day specifically, but Vinicius has been the more consistent UCL fantasy asset across the whole season. So yeah, let's catch up to what we are now. Yeah, a lot of these questions we've answered already. Militao, Van Dijk for me. Jesus and Fabinho or Jota and Rodri. Jesus and Fabinho. Foden or Modric. Just about I'd go for Modric, but that's a very controversial one. Is Vinicius in for Jesus worth it? For a free transfer, yes. Not for a -4. Captain Salah or Mane? Back your gut, mate. I would go for Salah, but if you're chasing rank, maybe Mane's the better one. ¿Me recomiendas utilizar el sin limitless ahorita o lo guardo para la final? Para mí no hace mucha diferencia, pero tampoco no sé tu equipo. Si era para mi equipo, yo lo usaría ahora en la jornada 12. Best non-Man City or Liverpool defender? Pretty tough one. Probably Militao or Felan Mendy. Konate or Virgil or Robertson in for Otamendi? I'd go for Robertson, but Konate and Virgil are also good. Hayden, Jesus and Chukwueze or Mahrez and Moreno? I'd go for Jesus and Chukwueze, but I like both duos. Thank you, Sean. Love the content. Vinicius or Jesus for this week? For this week, Vinicius Jr. Yeah. I think he's the main guy I'm kind of worried about. And I've got these questions a lot, especially after an Arsenal win. Thoughts on essential Arsenal assets for next year's UCL Fantasy? I don't think anyone would be essential. And Arsenal, I don't know how Arsenal ever won a Champions League, by the way. They should have, but yeah, in recent years, they haven't been the greatest in the Champions League. Let's put it that way. I think Saka would be someone to consider, but I don't think he'd be essential. Who else? Maybe Gabriel Jesus if he signs for Arsenal. But yeah, it's too early to say. Gracias, Sadiq. Fabinho, Thiago or Keita? I think I said this already. I'd probably go for Fabinho, yep. I have Mahrez. Should I switch to Foden? No. Unless that extra money goes a long way in helping your team. Thiago, maybe a better budget mid? Yep. Yeah, I think so, possibly. I'm not a big fan, but he's alright. Thank you, Sumik. Who to replace Modric with, and is it even worth doing? I don't think it's worth doing, personally. Unless it's to De Bruyne or Mane or Salah, I don't think it's worth it. Maybe Mahrez as well. I have Rulli and Ederson at goal. Should I transfer in Alisson? Yes, Alisson in for Rulli, Octa, if you can, but not for a -4. I'm able to afford Vinicius Jr., and that's why I'm a bit torn between him and Jota. I am tempted by Vinicius, but Jota could easily do really well. Yeah, look, I think it's definitely a debate to be had. Most people are going for Vinicius Jr., and that's understandable, but I personally prefer Jota for this match day specifically. Overall, who do I think is the best asset of these three across the whole season? Definitely Vinicius Jr. Captain, Salah probably. Yeah, kind of what we said before. How about a poll? Captain, Salah, Mane, Trent, Jota. Yep, I think that's definitely up next. So I'll wait for a few more votes to be had because it's only been 4 minutes since the last one, and then we'll put that poll out. So yeah, captaincy is definitely on the agenda next. Yeah. Keita, yeah, I already answered these questions about Liverpool midfielders. I'd go for Fabinho personally. Why are you choosing Fabinho over Mane? I'm not trying to be rude, by the way, but have you seen my funds? Like, I can't get Mane in for Fabinho, so that's pretty much why. Yeah, I don't think anyone could afford Mane over Fabinho as well as the rest of my squad. I'm pretty sure that's quite difficult to achieve, even possibly I could say impossible. Yeah. Don't doubt the process. Dylan Arteta will deliver us a UCL. You never know, but I don't know. I'd rather see how things go, and there's a lot of luck involved in the Cups, especially the Champions League, so yeah, I'm not too sure about that. Let's wait and see. Bayern is weighing Arsenal at the round 16 next season. Honestly, the way Bayern were this season, I don't really care. I mean, Bayern aren't that great, and a lot of their kind of big wins over Arsenal, like one of them was in a group stage game. Okay, well done, enjoy it. Then the other ones, yeah, Arsenal capitulated, and they came off the back of stupid decisions like a red card. I think it was for Koscielny. Like, stuff like that, you're like, what the hell? Yeah, first leg, fair enough. Arsenal had 11 men. There was no excuse. They're already 1-0 up. But then also Koscielny, Arsenal's best player, came off. So, look, I'm not excusing it, by the way. You should never lose 5-1 to any opponent, especially across 2 legs. But I'm not really that bothered about Bayern, to be honest. I don't think they're that good. Any changes to your wildcard team? Not really. Just Diaz out if he was in it for Jota. Yeah. Why Fabinho? Yeah, I already answered that. Konate or Robertson? I go for Robertson. Parejo, Capoue or Lo Celso? I think Parejo is my favourite of the lot if you can afford it, Cilindra. And Robertson or Konate? Once again, if you can afford it, I go for Robertson, but there's not much to split them. Van Dijk or Konate? Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of people ask this. I'd go for Konate if you can, yes. Only I see Real Madrid advancing. I think there's a great chance. I'm back in my original prediction, and that's why I've gone for City. But yeah, I think they have a great chance. Mahrez or Bernardo? Mahrez for me. 6 Liverpool and 5 City players. If they both get knocked out, what's your plan for the final? To adjust. And ultimately, remember, you only needed 11 for the final, and you get 5 free transfers. Like, yes, you could argue I'm putting all my eggs in one basket, but I do have Benzema, I've got Modric, and I've got Militao, so that's not the worst. If Villarreal make a comeback, then yes, I am quite screwed, I guess. But ultimately, look, we live and learn from these decisions, and I'm ultimately backing Liverpool to go through to the final. As for City Madrid, I'll be honest, it's quite 50-50. I slightly edge towards City, and I prefer their assets anyway, and that's why I'm going for Foden. You're on the same wavelength as me. Just tune in and see you're thinking Diaz to Jota. Yeah, I always said this. If Diaz didn't start, I would have done that, and also Robertson to Konate. That was always the plan. What else do we have? Bayern, the real pride of London. Maybe a few years ago when they beat Chelsea and I think Arsenal just the year before, and Spurs when they smacked them as well. Nah, I think the real pride of Arsenal is of Arsenal. I think that gave him an answer. The real pride of London is definitely Arsenal. Yeah. Dylan, so Mane and Jota playing. Who's going to be in front? Who's going to play up front? I think Jota, yeah, and Mane on the left, Salah right. Captain Jota or Salah? I think I'd still go for Salah, but if you're chasing, maybe Jota's the better differential captaincy for you. But I'm going for Salah. Villarreal have never lost a home match in the UCL knockout stages before, 1-2 drawn 5. However, they've also never managed to score more than once. Yeah, I also remember their the famous penalty saved by Jens Lehmann on Riquelme. Iconic for Arsenal fans. Unfortunately, Lehmann did that the same year against Argentina, the bastard. But yeah, that's a very good start. I didn't know about that, so thank you, Superstar. Quite tempted by Trent captain. Yeah, same here. So we've got half an hour left for the deadline. I think I'm going to lock in my transfers, the earliest I've ever done probably. So I tend to leave it for the last few minutes, but I think I'm quite settled on this. As much as I'd like Vinicius Jr., I don't think it's worth ripping apart my team structure for it. So just if you're new, if you haven't seen the lineups, Danjuma is not in the squad, so get rid of him. Robertson starting, despite some people, including myself, potentially considering a Tsimikas start there, but no, it's Robertson. Diaz was the other one. He is not starting. It's Diego Jota in his place. The rest is what you would expect from Liverpool. So that's it. And it's between Foden and Bernardo for me. I think I'm going to go for Foden just for the attack and returns, but Bernardo Silva is so explosive, so maybe that's a mistake. And I haven't really gone for Bernardo all season, I think. Foden is a bit of an interesting one. Whenever I had him, he's been awful, and when I get rid of him, he does really well. So yeah, if he is jinxed in advance, I apologise to all of you who own Phil Foden. Let me double check something else. The ownership. Yeah, Foden's a bit more of a differential as well. I like that. And all of Bernardo Silva's returns have basically come in 3 games. Although, could you not say the same about Foden? Well, technically they've come in 4 or 5. So, yeah, I think I'm going to go for this. Let me know what you think of these transfers. We're going to lock this in. And let's put a new poll out. So, which forward do you prefer? Over 200 of you have voted. And when it reaches 10 minutes, I am going to end it. But almost half of you have gone for Vinicius Jr., only 18% for Gabriel Jesus despite his form, and 33% for Jota after the news that he is starting over Luis Diaz. So that's quite interesting, and I think this is what I would have expected from the poll. Although I would have expected maybe a bit of a tighter one. I think Jesus, probably deserves a few more votes. Thank you, Santiago. Much appreciated. Good luck as well with your match day. Hopefully you do very well. I've already done Edison to Alisson. Now I'm going to do Diaz to Jota, and I don't know if I need to make a third transfer. That's the thing, though. If you don't need to make a third transfer and you're reaching, then there's not really a need to do it. But obviously, it doesn't carry over to the next round. Yeah, Anthony, once again, there's no changes to my wildcard team, really, apart from the striker because of the lineup. That's pretty much it. Who's Villarreal's penalty taker? As far as I'm aware, it's normally Moreno, but obviously he's not in the starting 11, I believe. So I think it could be Parejo, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think it'd be Lo Celso or Chukwueze, etc. Yeah, I think it should be Parejo. And that's why I think he's probably my favourite Villarreal midfielder if you can afford him. So yeah, 260 votes, 10 minutes. Thank you very much. Let's now go for a new poll. This is probably going to be the final one. We've put quite a few in this video already on this stream. So the final one, potentially. Who's going to be your captain? How about that? Who's going to be your captain? So we're going to put 4 options. Unfortunately, I can't put more. So Salah, Mane, Jota, and then we'll put Liverpool defender as the last one. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I mean, what if you go for a Villarreal player like Estupiñán? I mean, why not? I mean, yeah, there's definitely different ways. I wish I had more options to show you. But yeah, who's going to be your captain? Remember, captain someone on the Tuesday, please, you know, because a lot of people still don't know or they're not aware. Captain someone on the Tuesday. Do not bench any Tuesday players, and that is going to go a long way. So 60% of you already going for Salah. Oh no, maybe I should have excluded him from the poll. Only 4% with Jota. More people are going for a Liverpool defender captaincy. That's interesting. Oh, look, there you go. Mane is getting a few more votes there. Just imagine this, Madrid versus Liverpool. I think Liverpool are winning the Champions League anyway, personally. Right now, they've got the momentum. And also with City, they kind of have... I'm not sure if they're bottlers. They're not like PSG, for example. But even you look at the final last year, they had the better team than Chelsea. Pep fought with the lineup. They really should have won that final. So yeah, I just have more confidence in Liverpool winning. You know, Madrid, they're the kings of this competition. Never rule them out, but I think Liverpool. They're 7 players from a team in the final, up to 8. Dano. So you can have 8 players from one team and 7 from the other. Yep. Thank you, Colin, for moderating the chat. I appreciate it. Best pair of Jesus, Vinicius and Jota. I would go for Jota and Vinicius, Andres. Moreno's playing. Yeah, sorry. Thank you very much. Yeah, Moreno is playing. Sorry. Thank you very much. Yeah, I think it's between Moreno and Parejo. Yeah. Let me check the lineup once again. I think I saw a different name or something. That's probably why I bugged out. Oh, yes. Okay, that was it. Yeah, sorry. So... the lineup I read earlier for Villarreal, I think is slightly different because it said Lo Celso up front with Dia. So my apologies for that. Thank you for correcting me. So yeah, I wouldn't have actually realised that. So yeah, Moreno was expected to return today. It's Danjuma unfortunately making not in the squad. Is he actually on the bench now? Maybe he is on the bench. No, I don't see him on the bench either. That is a huge loss, mate. Wow. Yeah, I just don't really see Villarreal going through, but you never know. You never know. Stranger things have happened, I guess, if you can even say that. But yeah, we're going back to my team. We've got 28 minutes left for the deadline, and 65% of you are going for Salah. All right, what else do we have? Diaz, Danjuma and Stones to Vinicius, 7.7 million midfielder, and Kanate or Jota, Foden, Militao. I would go for Vinicius, 7.7 million midfielder, and Kanate, although the other one looks pretty good too, to be fair. Who is the best differential? Best differential, I think Diego Jota, arguably, today. Yeah, well, 10% ownership. Okay, maybe not. Kanate, I think, yeah. He's probably around, what, 5% ownership? Yeah, 5%. Yeah, Kanate. I'd probably put him. What else do we have? Fabinho. I'm guessing that's the answer to the differential question. I mean, it's still low ownership, yeah. I think that's definitely worth considering. Thomas says Jota. Salah tonight. Wait, let's see. Okay, we're kind of caught up now. Let's see, what else do we have? Yeah, Salah tonight, unless I decide last minute for differential or Trent. I mean, you can afford to do so, that's the thing. Walker and Vinicius over Laporte and Jesus. I still prefer Laporte and Jesus as a duo. Jota's a differential, fair enough. Thiago or Villarreal midfielder? That's a good question. I think I would... That's really tough. I think I'd maybe go for a Villarreal midfielder like Parejo. Yeah. I'm 0.1 million off Jesus. Maybe go for Jota instead, Mitch. Although you probably have him already. Yeah. Jota or Vinicius. Answer this already plenty of times. Jota, mate. Captain Foden last week in FPL got a 25k boost. Go Foden tomorrow. Yeah, fair enough. Probably not going to captain him, but I'm looking to get him into my team. So yeah, just to conclude this, and once again, it's probably not going to make much of a difference, but to those people that do copy teams, and I'm not just saying mine, but in general, try to make your own decisions. It honestly is just the best thing to do long term, and you improve as a manager, and you could even do even better than, it doesn't even have to be a content creator, even those around you, anyone. So honestly, I highly recommend not copying people move for move. I've seen a few people do that, especially at the beginning of the season. And just because someone makes videos doesn't make them an expert. And honestly, I have to make that very clear. But I think I'm going to do this. Diaz to Jota, Danjuma to Foden, and Diaz to Cancelo. I think we're locked in. I'm just going to have one more look, since I'm a bit OCD like that, at this team. So as you can see, Salah is my captain at the moment. And so Cancelo coming for Diaz, Foden for Danjuma. Maybe no Villarreal player is a mistake, to be fair, but I just don't really back them, to be quite honest with you. So yeah, I think I'm going to go ahead with it. If Liverpool get knocked out, then yeah, I'm in a bad position, but that's how the way football goes, basically. So I'm very close to locking in. 0 million in the bank. Maybe it's a sign. Maybe it is. Lo Celso or Capoue. I think I'd go for Lo Celso just for the attacking threat. Jota Jesus, Jota. Thank you, Mayuk. Alisson, Capoue, or Arthur, Vinicius, Oruli, Modric, Jota. I would go for Alisson, Capoue, and Vinicius, or it could be another midfielder. But yeah, try not to spam the question, please. Fabinho or Keita, I'd go for Fabinho. Top 3, 7.7 million midfielder in order. I'd have to think about that and go back to the transfer section. So I'll try to answer that in a little second. Konate, 6.5 million midfielder, or Militao and Fabinho. Get Edison, Cancelo, Laporte, Robertson, Trent. Yeah, look, I'd probably go for the Fabinho-Militao duo, Mohamed. Dia, good enabler? Yes, he is a good enabler. Yes, he is. Yeah, but I do prefer having 3 forwards if possible, because there's quite a lot to choose from. For chasing purposes, should I go for Vinicius or Jota? Well, I'm pretty sure Vinicius is going to have more ownership, so I'll double check that, by the way, but I think I'm going to log this in, by the way. Yeah, let's wait and see what happens. This could be a mistake, but there we go. Yeah, so I think I don't need to make any transfer, or should I say substitutions as well. My transfers are locked in. There we go, and that is my new team. And now let's go on to this. Yeah. Oh yeah, I have to refresh this then, because made the transfers. Okay, there we go. Alright, so let's check the Vinicius Junior question. I think it's just as simple as that. Yeah, Vinicius is 27% ownership, mate. So I'd probably say Jota. He's 10% ownership. If you're chasing rank, I think Jota. And also, he's got the easier fixture out of the two. So you would argue his ceiling on paper is higher. Yeah, don't forget Predictor. Thank you very much. I didn't copy you because you bought Cancelo for Diaz. I bought Cancelo for Laporte. Yeah, Thomas, I wasn't specifically talking to you, by the way. I was talking to other people who were asking about, are these your final transfers and stuff like that? Because I know some people have done it. I've seen, people send in teams, for example, of people copying like move for move. Now, I'll be honest, it doesn't bother me that much, but I just think it's better for the people to just make their own decisions. That's just the way I see it. I mean, it's just the way it is. I mean, this is my opinion. I could be wrong anyway, but yeah. I'll be interested to see what you guys think as well. And it's obviously much worse for content creators with like hundreds of thousands of subscribers and stuff. That's going to be a major case of copying there. Bernardo to Mahrez, I'd go for Mahrez once again, mate. Bad idea to have bench fodder during the second leg? Not really. The stronger your bench, the better. It's a bad idea heading into the final because it might limit your starting 11, but not in the second leg of a semi-final, no. Welcome, Hrithik. Thank you very much. Lo Celso Capoue, bro. I answered this question already, mate. I'd go for Lo Celso for the attacking threat. What about paying -4 points so I take out Danjuma and buy Bernardo? In that case, it could be worth the hit, but I'm just not too sure. It's very hard for me to say, but basically, you would need Bernardo to pay off that hit in this game and in the final should City reach it as well. Yes, it's worth a hit, but I'm not sure if I would do it myself. Yeah, I'm not sure why you're still spamming the same question, mate. I already answered it multiple times, mate. Thank you, Arthur. Much appreciated. 4 Liverpool players in defence. I think that's great. I wouldn't go overboard of 5 or 6. Definitely not. I did Kate as a punt. Yeah, I like the idea. I think I highlighted him earlier. Why play the game if you can't make their own decisions? I completely agree. Sometimes, people have this logic of I'm in a mini league, sometimes for money. And if I copy a content creator or someone who's supposedly good at the game, I'm going to win the league, basically. But it's just best to make your own decisions, you know, and laugh at your mistakes or your failures or your bad luck, and also celebrate the good decisions you made. That's just the way I see it, but obviously people are always going to do that. Just a game in it. Copying teams is lame. Have some fun, people. Look, I agree. Look, I'm not calling people who do that, you know, any word. I haven't said anything disrespectful. I just think it's best for those. And look, I'm not going to tell them what to do in their life, but I just personally think it's best if they make their own decisions because it's more enjoyable that way. I wouldn't be able to enjoy copying someone else personally. Thank you, Aranya, for the super chat. Lo Celso, Danny Parejo, or Capoue? I think I would go for Parejo because he could be on penalties, and I think he's been the most consistent across the whole season. So if we check Villarreal midfielders and, you know, kind of compare all of them, you will see Parejo is just behind Danjuma, and, you know, very consistent returns across the whole season. Lo Celso's the most offensive, and he's the most likely to get an assist. He's got the best vision in the team. He's got that killer pass. He's a good dribbler. He makes things happen. But I think I would go for Parejo. Capoue has also been pretty good, you know, but a lot of his returns have come in the earlier stages, or should we say around, matchday 4 to matchday 7, 8. But yeah, I ultimately would go for Parejo, and if not, Lo Celso, Aranya. Thank you very much for your super chat. I'm going to use the limitless in the final. Fair enough, Arthur. I don't think there's a huge difference between using it now or then, but it ultimately depends on your team. Trust your instincts, guys. Fantasy is for fun. Yeah, I agree. But obviously, look, people are always going to copy anyway. Some people might have, you know, the streams on mute and they just copy what people do anyway. But yeah, I just think it's not the way to go. Yeah, thank you, Melvin, for moderating the chat as well. Thank you, Gerardo. Good luck to you as well. Hopefully you get a green arrow and enjoy the games. Thiago or Villarreal midfielder? Once again, I'd be tempted by Villarreal midfielder like Parejo or Lo Celso. Yeah, but there's not much to separate them. Parejo or Mane? Definitely Mane, Ahmed. Definitely Mane. 7.4 million midfielder. I'd probably consider Lo Celso or Thiago. I think that's where I would go. Yeah, unless you can get Fabinho. Yes, then Fabinho will be at the top of my list. Thank you, David. Top content, Dylan. Would you go for Mahrez plus Modric plus Jota plus Rodri, or Mane, Modric, Foden? Saludos desde Mexico. Gracias. That's a tough one. I think I would go for... Mamma mia. I think I'd go for Mahrez, Modric, Jota and Rodri, David, yeah. Thiago, Fabinho. For me, Fabinho, Sunak. Mahrez and Moreno or Jesus and Parejo? I would go for Mahrez and Moreno. Actually, I'm not sure about that. That's actually quite tough. Maybe I'd go for Mahrez and Moreno, but I'm just not sure if I would. Oh god, yeah, Mahrez and Moreno, just about. Thiago, yeah. Hopefully you got the answer. I'm not going to repeat myself, mate. I literally just said it. Yeah, Moreno's on penalties. I think so too. He did miss one in the Euros, didn't he, for Spain? Check the rules. You can only carry one free transfer. Oh, you can carry one free transfer. Let me double check that. Thank you very much. Yeah, I'm not too sure if they changed it or something, but for example, one thing they have changed is, let me think about this. Yeah, in the Man of the Match award, they said specifically, and I think you can even check in my How to Play guide, they said specifically that it only happens during the group stages and that it won't be a feature in the knockout stages, but they've done it. So maybe they have altered it, so my bad for that. Thank you for the correction. Thoughts on Dia? If you're looking for an enabler and it allows you to get Mane, Salah and KDB, I'd go for it. Otherwise, I don't think it's really necessary. Yeah, I'm sorry, but any questions that are just constantly spammed are not going to be answered. Like I said, if you be patient, you're going to have your question answered, and we're trying to get through different topics. Who's your second day captain? Probably it will be Karim Benzema, but it's between him and De Bruyne for sure. I don't think I'd captain a defender, even if it's Joao Cancelo. So yeah, I think as things stand, we're going to go for something like this, as you can see. So back to the screen here. We've got the starting 11 of Alisson, Trent, Robertson, Laporte, Foden, Fabinho, Salah captain, and De Bruyne, Jesus, Jota and Benzema. And on my bench I've got Edison, Modric, Cancelo and Militao. I'm actually very happy with this team, and it'd be identical to the best wildcard team I talked about in my last video yesterday. So yeah, I mean, I'm actually quite happy with this team, but no Vinicius Jr., no Mane. I think those are the two main ones who could really damage me. Even Kanate with another goal, for example. So, yeah, I think we're going to end this poll as well. Yeah, we've gotten to 300 votes anyway. So, 60% of you went with Salah. So, I think that's quite self-explanatory there. Foden, Silva and a Limitless. I would go for Foden if you had to pick one. But that's just my opinion. I prefer Foden anyway. Jota Moreno, I'd go for Jota. Casemiro Parejo, I would go for Parejo. Stones, Danjuma, Sane, Diaz out, Cancelo, Mahrez, Foden, Jota in. Yes, I think I agree with those. I don't really see a problem with that. Modric, Edison or Militao for the bench. Only have one free transfer. For the bench. Yeah, I'm not sure what you mean by that. In terms of, those players, yeah, you can bench because they play tomorrow, then you can bring them on. In terms of only getting one of them in, if that's what your question is, then I think Modric or Edison would be my preference. I'm not a big fan of Militao. I only have him just to cover Real Madrid defensively, really, and I think he's their best defender. Is Cancelo starting tomorrow? I'd be very surprised if he doesn't, honestly. I think he will. I think Salah will score 2 goals. Well, I'm guessing it's 2 goals. Yeah, because you put 2 football emojis. But yeah, and once the knockout stage starts, you can't carry any free transfers forward between match days. That's what I thought. I thought you could only carry one transfer, I think it was, between the group stages. Let me double check this because I've seen quite a few conflicting reports. So let's see if we've got anything else. So let's check this out and sort this. So rules section. Here we go. So let's try get through this quickly. So let's see transfers. Okay, here we go. So yeah, and by the way, this answers people's questions, which I already kind of covered anyway, but for the final, you get up to 8 players from one team, which makes sense. You can have 8 players from one finalist and some from the other. So if any of your transfers, let me try narrow it down. So let's see. Starting late, managing your squad. Where is it? Where else are you mentioned here? Selecting a captain, formation. I haven't seen this document since like August, so bear with me for a second. I think it was August actually. Substitution, selecting a captain. I might have gone over it by the way, so I might go back up. Automatic substitutions, making transfers. Okay, I think this is it. Yeah, you get free transfers each match day. Let's see. Yeah, if you don't use your free transfers between match days, you'll only be able to carry one forward to the next match day, meaning you can't stockpile free transfers over several rounds. If you use your wildcard limitless chip, then no transfers get carried forward. This is the key sentence here. And once the knockout stage starts, you can't carry any free transfers between match days. So as you can see, we get free transfers heading into the second leg, just like we do now, and we get 5 transfers heading into the first leg of each round. So you can use those. So for example, let's say I made 2 transfers now and I didn't use my third one. I won't be able to carry that third one over and get 6 heading into the final. So that is the key sentence. So yeah, that hasn't changed. The only thing that's changed from when I read this in the How to Play UCL Fantasy video last season, the main difference was the UCL Fantasy Man of the Match points. I think it was specifically for the group stages, but they changed it because I'm guessing a lot of people, wanted it to stay and be a regular feature, and it stayed for the knockout stages. But everything else has stayed the same. So yes, no transfers carry over, and hopefully that is very clear. Let's see. No, yeah, God, we can't carry transfers over, like I said before. Yeah, I've said all stream, like, from my understanding, you can't carry transfers over in the knockout stages. But, yeah, that should be cleared up now. So nothing's changed. So pretty much what I've said in all the videos and streams is true, which is good to know. Otherwise, I would have, people would have been coming with pitchforks and stuff, probably trying to kill me. Captain Imani, good luck, Dylan, everyone. Good luck to you, Sudindra. All the best of luck. And, yeah, I like that captaincy, mate. I like it a lot. Yeah, Anthony, there's no need to spam the chat, mate, honestly. Like, I'm pretty sure I went through your team anyway, and there's no need to spam it, honestly. Your team's good. I can't really offer too much more. Like, for example, if I said do Coquelin to Fabinho, you probably already have 6 Liverpool players, and you might not even have the funds to do so. The team's strong. Like, there's not much more to comment on it, and I think I've already answered it, and if I have, then, yeah, there's no need to do it again. Richarlison's been banned for 2 years. What? Surely not. No. I'm going to double check this to see myself. 2 years? No, that can't be right. 2 years. No way. I'm going to double check that, mate. Let's see. What? Oh, no, that's fake, isn't it? Wait, what? Yeah. There's literally, the first 2 I saw was by Sky Sports News, but if you check the ad, it says SSN401, and it's just a parody, basically. And yeah, the profile says absolute bollocks from the Sky Sports studio. Yeah, no, nothing's been said about that yet, no. Why would they do that? Harvey Elliott threw a flare. Did he get a 2-year ban? That would be stupid. And I don't like Richarlison, by the way. I do not like him, but that would be stupid if they did that. Yeah, no, there's no chance he gets banned for 2 years. Will Casemiro start? I believe so, yeah. Thank you, Flan Dutchman, for moderating the chat. Thank you very much. Best 7.3 million midfielder. I can't own any more Liverpool. As I said before, I'd probably go for a Villarreal midfielder in that case. Yeah, and I think I would go for Lo Celso. Best captain for tomorrow, it's Benzema or De Bruyne. I think it's quite simple there. And I'm going for Benzema potentially, but I'll let you know. One more question. I'm sorry, what about -4 points? Danjuma out, Foden in. Yeah, look, I think it's worth a -4 potentially. It's very risky to take hits in UCL Fantasy, in my opinion. Who's my captain? It's on screen. It's Salah. So yeah, nothing special there. So thank you everyone once again. If you haven't already, be sure to smash the like button. We've been streaming for like 2 hours almost. And let's get this video to 150 likes. And yeah, we've got like a few hundred people watching. So yeah, we can definitely do that. Obviously, we're almost at the end of UCL Fantasy now, and we can then finally rest, we could say. Although FPL is still going to go on, and we've got F1 Fantasy. So yeah, once the FPL content concludes, we've got the final for UCL Fantasy, we've got the normal videos and the stream, and then F1 Fantasy. If any of you play it, obviously, it's actually got quite a similar player base, you know, over 1 million, just like UCL Fantasy. Hey Dylan, I'm planning to transfer Danjuma to Bernardo Silva, Nunez to Moreno, and Rulli to Courtois. Your thoughts? I prefer Edison over Rulli, but yeah, that's fair enough. Raja, what I would recommend is if you have Alisson, then yes, I'd definitely get rid of Rulli because having two goalkeepers on the same day just doesn't make sense. So yeah, I prefer Edison over Courtois, but that's fine. Nunez to Moreno, I prefer Jota, Vinicius Jr., Gabriel Jesus, Benzema, etc. But you know, that's not a bad shout. And Bernardo Silva's a good transfer, although my preference is Mahrez or Foden. Hey Dylan, Diaz or Mendy? Diaz. Salah or Mane for Limitless? I'd still go for Salah. Rate my team Limitless. Yeah. Wait, Limitless and you got Rulli? I wouldn't do that. I would go for Alisson, mate. I'm guessing it's because you got Trent, Robertson, Konate, and in that case, fair enough. But I would go for Alisson over Rulli. The rest looks fantastic, though. I don't really have any problems there. Modric or Foden, as I have a 1 free City spot, and Jota Jesus. I would go for Jota over Jesus, personally, but back your gut. And I would go for Modric over Foden, but only just about. Robertson or Konate, I would go for Robertson. Please don't spam the chat with the same questions. Yeah, there's no need for it. Will Alaba start tomorrow? I don't think so. Most outlets are predicting him not to start. No problem, Mohammed. And big up Tunisia. Thank you very much for tuning in. Prepping for my Portugal trip tomorrow. You always seem to be on holidays, mate. Wow, very lucky. I mean, I haven't been on a holiday in a long time. I was on a roll, and then COVID just basically broke the momentum. But yeah, enjoy yourself, mate. That should be nice. Vinicius or Jota? I'd go for Jota personally. United submitted an 80 million bid for Nunez, likely to be accepted. I have legit source. Want me to link you? Yeah, sure. If it's actually legit, then yeah, I'll have a look. But then what's going to be the situation with Ronaldo? Because unless both of them play up front, you know, one of them's going to be sitting on the bench. And would United spend 80 million for a bench player? I mean, I don't know. That'll be quite interesting. But yeah, I think Nunez is a good signing. Dylan, if you're going to go safe option as Benzema for tomorrow, so why not take a risk of captaincy today? Look, like I said, I am tempted and I like going for someone different. It's just I think Salah's going to score the best today, and that's why I'm going for him. So yeah, that's as simple as that. Thank you, Vizonomir, and yeah, Croatia. Actually, I was looking at going on a holiday there, and maybe I will in the future. But yeah, thank you very much. Foyth or Estupinian, I think Estupinian definitely has the better goal threat, but Foyth is better for ball recoveries, and I think he was very good against Liverpool in the first leg. I really liked his performance. I think if I had to pick, I'd go for Foyth. Jota or Vinicius? Yep, Jota again, mate. Capulla, Lo Celso, I go for Lo Celso. Mahrez or Foden? Mahrez. A lot of these we've kind of already answered. Salah or Mane captain? I'd go for Salah personally. Up to you. Casemiro and Konate or Rodri and Robertson? I'd go for Rodri and Robertson. To be fair, they both are really good. I mean, they're both good duos. You could argue Casemiro and Konate is actually better, Aiden. Yeah, I'd go for the first duo, actually. But, yeah. Si tuvieras a Mane, ¿sería tu capitán? Sería entre él y Salah. No sé si sería mi capitán, pero seguro que lo pensaría y me gusta que es una diferencial. Me gusta mucho. Así que puede ser, pero no puedo decirte que sí. Es cierto. Check out Twitter. I think a few changes are going to be made to FPL rules next season. Yeah, I mentioned that earlier. I saw like a few like bullet points basically being made. Are the only fantasy football live stream on YouTube? Fantasy football, no. There's a lot, trust me, especially FPL. But as for UCL Fantasy, I don't think there's another. I think there might be one or two others that do live streams, and you should check that out. I think one of them is Glenn Kitely, so check him out. But yeah, I'm not sure if anyone else does. Yeah. Jota vs Vinicius, yeah. I mean, hopefully you got my answer recently. The main question goes, Foden or Silva? Yeah, I prefer Foden just about. And if Mane in, then who out? No, I wouldn't get Mane in for Salah or KDB. No. Dybala's favourite to come to Arsenal, and I don't think so. I don't think that makes sense, and I don't think that will happen. Man City likely to accept 35 million. That's quite low. That'd be a good purchase. Toni Kroos or Casemiro? I'd go for Casemiro. Should I take a hit for Rodrigo to Jesus? I don't think I'd take a hit. Looks like Robertson and Trent will be playing both games during 36 now. I think Robertson will. Sorry, I think Trent will, because he got his rest against Newcastle. I'm not sure about Robertson, but I probably will still keep him in FPL. I don't think it makes sense to get rid of him in my case. Jota Jesus, Jota. What's your ethnicity, Dylan? Not that it matters too much, but basically, got dual nationality. I live in London. I'm from London, and yeah, and my parents are from South America. That's pretty much it. Should I take a hit? Yeah, no. Please don't spam the chat, honestly. I don't see who it benefits. Foden and Foyth or Bernardo Silva and Estupinian. Both good, but I go for Foden and Foyth. Salah or Mane for captain. Back your gut. I'm going for Salah. Foyth or Lo Celso. I think Lo Celso if I had to pick one. Just for the upside. De Bruyne or Mane. De Bruyne for me. Best what player? I didn't see that. I'm guessing it's the... What, are you saying 21st century? Yeah, I'm not sure. How likely is Martinez to join Arsenal? I'm not sure if he's that likely to join Arsenal, but apparently they have reignited their interest according to, I think it was the Times. Answer fast. Wow, okay. Calm down. Already have Trent, Robertson, Carvalho, Konate, 0.2 million in the bank. You're lacking a City defender, so I would go for Laporte. Yeah, that's quite easy. I think Matip's going to start both games in 36, and I'm going to buy him. Yeah, I don't think it makes sense in my situation though, doing Robertson to Matip, but yeah, definitely. I think Matip could start both. Although last season I would have laughed at that because he always gets injured or gets managed. What do you like about London? I like the amount of places there are to eat, to go, the amount of things to do. I like the diversity. I like the different languages. There's so many people from Spain, from Latin America, from Italy, from Africa, all parts of the world, Asia. That's what I like about it. What I don't like, I'll have a few things to say as well, but yeah, I think that's what I generally like about it. Also the sights to see. I don't really get too tired, even though whenever someone comes over and I kind of show them about, I don't really get bored of always showing them the same places. Jota or Salah for captain? Once again, back your gut, mate. I'm going for Salah, but up to you. Can you check the best 7.7 million midfielders, please? I think I've already gone through this, and once again, I'd probably go for someone like Thiago. I've already said Fabinho is my favourite, but if you can't get him, then I'd go probably for Thiago. Sorry, not Thiago, sorry. If you can't go for any Liverpool players, then I would probably go for Lo Celso. There is maybe Rodri, Casemiro as well. I think Casemiro will probably be the top of my list as well. So 7.7 million midfielders and under. I would go for Fabinho first, maybe Thiago second. Obviously, if you can't get them, I'd go for Casemiro and Lo Celso. That's kind of my top four. Another player to consider is probably Capoue or Coquelin. I'll trust you for the Salah captaincy. Look, mate, do what you want. I mean, I'm just captaining Salah myself, and it doesn't mean everyone should. I'm just going for Salah because I think he'll do the best. I might be wrong. Thank you, Anders. I'm not sure, Goldhead, what your question was. I think you mentioned Nunez, and I answered it. Thanks, Dylan, for your help and ideas. I transferred out Fabinho, Diaz, and Thiago Silva for Konate, Jota, and Lo Celso. Captain Salah since he won the poll. Good luck. Yeah, look, most people would ideally go for, it's not a surprise that most people went for Salah. But yeah, good luck to you. I'm going for Salah myself because I think he'll do the best, but let's wait and see. Benzema Salah captain. Mate, Captain Salah because Benzema plays tomorrow. Yeah, Captain Salah today, Captain Benzema tomorrow. Simple. I'm not sure about Nunez as a United fan. I mean, this is his first, this is breakout season. So yes, he might not be worth 80 million. I don't think he's worth that much. I'd pay maybe 40 or 50. I think 80 is too much. Well, to be fair, Romano says anyone's a baller, and he always posts some, I don't know, stat or something, or some tweet, bigging people up. Who do you think will join Arsenal next? I don't know. That's a good question. I honestly don't know. They're linked to a left back. I can't remember the name, but he's apparently 2-footed. He can fill in for Tierney and Tomiyasu, who both have injury problems. Thoughts on London weather? Well, it's not as bad as the north of England, for example, but it's no, it's no Spain. So the lack of sun is annoying sometimes, you could say. But to be honest, I'm not really someone who likes, extreme heat, especially in a big city. Yeah, that's a good point. Have you checked your predictions? Yes, just not too much. And I think I'm going to stick with 3-1 Liverpool. I think I'll stick with Mane as my first scorer. I think I'm just going to stick with it. My original prediction was 2-1 Liverpool. But with Danjuma out, and I also think that Liverpool are going to win by more. So yeah, I think I'll go 3-1 Liverpool, maybe 2-0, but whatever. I'm just going to go 3-1, see what happens. That should be quite interesting. Yeah, 1 minute to the deadline. Thank you very much. Final question: KDB, Salah, Benzema, Sterling, or Robertson as my captain? Once again, Anders, do not captain players on the Wednesday. Just captain someone from today. So from those you said, it's Salah. It doesn't make any sense to captain KDB when you can captain Salah today. Salah has blanked recently. Liverpool defenders to captain. Robertson or Trent. Even Konate is a good choice. Yeah. I think if I had to pick one, it would be Trent. Foden and Jota in for Diaz and Danjuma. Yep, I really like those transfers. Yep. These final moments of the deadline streams like an exam sometimes. Yeah. That's one way of putting it. Thiago will be again the player of the match. Trust me. Yeah, I'm not going to get him though. But yeah, I wouldn't be too surprised. Good luck, Mora, and see you soon. Have you met any Filipinos? Yes, I had someone in my school. Had a funny laugh. Yeah, he's Filipino. Enjoy the football, everyone. Good luck to you. Yep, good luck to you as well, Alex. And that's the most important thing. Hopefully you get the points as well. Will you be watching the match tonight? Yes, although I'll be honest, I'm not that interested because I'm expecting Liverpool win. I'm really looking forward to the game tomorrow, though. Dylan, thoughts on making FIFA streams during the summer? Like I said, I'm possibly open to doing streams during the summer. F1 content will probably be a big thing there, especially if enough people are interested. And the same goes for gaming. If enough people want to see it, then I could do some gaming videos, but I don't think FIFA's a great idea. that bores my skin. I predicted Jota's the first goal scorer. Yeah, I was looking at him or Mane at the end. Yeah. This is like an exam, says boy who never went to university. To be fair, I went uni and I only had one exam. And it was calm. I wasn't really that stressed. I actually generally managed my stress quite well. Good luck to you as well, Arnold. Jota, Militao, or Jesus and Van Dijk? Well, the deadline's gone, but I would go for Jesus and Van Dijk. Cheers, everyone. Let's hope we do well in this final stretch of the season. Yep, only one match day after this to go. Thoughts on Media Drive Latifi? What's this about? Media Drive Latifi? Is this like a program, or are the media having an agenda against Latifi? Let me know. I'm not sure. Media Drive Latifi. I think I saw something like that somewhere. What is this? Okay, so. Yeah, good evening to you as well, Rahul. Gracias, Dylan. Es la primera vez que estoy en el deadline stream y me encantó. Eres un crack, suerte. Gracias, David. No soy un crack, pero muchas gracias. Afición, esto para vosotros. Sí. But yeah, thank you very much, mate. Muchas gracias y disfrutar los partidos. Aaron Hickey, you meant? Wait, what? Aaron Hickey? What? Did you go uni in London? Yes, I did. I'm not going to disclose any further information. How can you have an agenda against Latifi, aka Daddy's money? Oh, is he another case of that? Like Landon Norris apparently is one. Lance Stroll is probably the biggest example. Captain Mane over Salah, hopefully gain rank. Konate was also tempting, but maybe Liverpool might concede. Yeah, I think Liverpool will score. I'm not so sure if they will keep a clean sheet, so I agree with that. Yeah, I think if you're chasing rank, Mane is the way to go. Cut my transfers to the last couple of seconds. That's pretty much what I always do. Nearly missed my chance to sub in Jota. Wow, got there in the end. Hope you had a good game week. Thank you, Dylan. Thank you, Mickey. Yeah, I don't recommend doing that. I just do it because I'm overthinking it. I'm guessing you did the same thing there. What do you say? Yes, look at William's sponsor. Safina Foods, that's Latifi's dad's company. Yeah, so also like, what's his name? Nikita Mazepin with his father and Haas. Yeah, I actually wasn't aware of that, I'll be honest. Yeah, I've mainly been focusing on the actual F1. I haven't really been focusing on the politics or the sponsorships. I actually didn't know that, so thank you very much. That's quite interesting. Yeah, Latifi's had a disastrous season, and ever since he made that mistake in Abu Dhabi, you know, maybe the death threats and stuff have gotten to his head. I think the death threats is just extreme, and you know, come on, like, it's a bit similar, it's a bit different to football. Like, yes, I know people are passionate about racing and Formula One. I definitely was as a kid. Not to the extent that I would cuss someone like that and, you know, ask for their blood or something. That's a bit stupid, isn't it? That's the way I see it. But yeah, let's see. It always takes a long time to refresh the page, it seems, when I'm on stream. But there we go. We've got points on the board probably. So I'm going to go off to watch the games. I'll try to go through the last few questions and comments. Laugh forever overthinking my decisions when it comes to FPL and UCL. Yeah, same here. I actually overthink in FPL a lot. In UCL Fantasy, are you serious, Mickey? No, I'm not. I haven't been able to watch the game yet. What computer do you have, Dylan? Wow. Okay. You know, let's keep the questions going. Let me just get, if I may, let me just. Oh, jeez, I don't want. I don't want any copyright. So I've got the stream up here. So yeah, I'm gonna turn the volume down. I'm gonna have the stream up. And I'll try to answer some questions. Obviously, I don't mind staying on for a little bit longer. But yeah, let's see. Have Villarreal actually scored? If so, and I've got bare Liverpool players, by the way. So yeah, it's not ideal for me. Let me actually. Oh God Almighty! Really? Excuse me, chaps. I'm gonna have to ask someone for a link. Jesus Christ, that's the way it goes. Unfortunately, I have to wait for Navmix to be available, and by the time it is, the season's already over. God Almighty! All right, come on, Jesus. This, yeah. What laptop do I have? I've got a MacBook Air M1. Yeah, a MacBook Air M1. Yeah, that's it. It was from last year's model. 16 gigabytes of RAM. And yeah, I'm very happy with it. You know, I made the upgrade sometime last year. I think around October, November, around Halloween time. Before that, you know, and I was still making videos. I had like quite an old laptop. It did the job. You know, I went through uni with it. You know, it was a great laptop in that regard. But the battery lasted like 5 minutes or something. But obviously, I had a laptop at least, and you know, I'm grateful for it. But yeah, I had to make the upgrade, I think. God Almighty, give me a link, Christ Almighty. Jesus. Yeah, bear with me for a second. People will just be like, what the hell is this going on about? Do you have a link? Let's see. Wow, I just saw a Colombian that I know. He's so pissed off that DS isn't starting. That is crazy. Yeah, okay, no. Yeah, I've seen someone celebrate Villarreal's goal. Okay, so yeah, it's definitely happened. I'm trying to get a link, honestly. Like, God almighty. Whenever I try to get a link on stream, it doesn't work. Give me a break. Okay, I'm just going to forget about it. I'm going to go through your questions quickly before wrapping up. Yeah, clean sheet gone. There you go. And at least I put a goal for Villarreal. Nagelsmann got death threats. Yeah. Look, death threats aren't tolerable anywhere. But my point about Latifi is, like, why would you like make a death threat against a driver? Like, probably Lewis Hamilton fans, probably. Yeah. Yeah. Who's actually scored, by the way? Dia. Wow. Dia. Wow, fair play. The enabler. Yeah, good evening. Comeback coming, eh? Liverpool still have a good chance. Are you getting the new F1 22 game? I actually got the last two. I platinumed F1 2021. Yeah, I've got no life. But yeah, I might get it. It's in EA's hands though. That puts me off. I don't like EA. Robertson caught. Wait, what did I missed the question? Who said that about Robertson? Robertson got caught napping by Capoue. Wow. Yeah, who got the assist? I think Estupinian made a cross. Okay, Capoue got the assist, yeah. Well, do you watch football? I watch it on the computer or the tablet, basically, yeah. Cough, cough, soccer stream. Oh, thank you very much. It's just, like, normally this stream works. I don't know why it isn't working now. I'll try your link. Yeah, it's a bit of a mistake, as they say. Maybe it's influenced by the fact that I'm streaming, so yeah, I'll see afterwards. Yeah, Vieira had the first shot on target. Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? Oh look, there you go. Now the points are loading in when everyone's getting 0 pointers, eh? Fantastic, fantastic. No way, you just said Lewis fans would do that. Come on, mate, it's just a little joke. Not look, just to make it clear, I'm not saying every Hamilton fan would do that. I'm saying some Lewis Hamilton fans would do that. They have done it. I mean, that's a fact, I think. Capoue assist, wow, that's... Yeah, I wouldn't have got Capoue in myself. I said he's one of the better options around his price, but never really was interested. Gaming channel when? I've got actually a Rage video on my channel if you want to check it out on Uncharted. Just in advance, if you decide to watch that video, it's obviously, don't take what I say in that video seriously, because I do say some slurs in there. Nothing racial, but I do say some, pretty heavy stuff. But yeah, it's just gaming rage. I think most of you that have experienced it will know what I mean. And I've also got a tutorial on Star Wars Battlefront 2 on how to level up. I think it's one of my most viewed videos on the channel. Dylan, you got any tips on socializing? Any tips on socializing? I'm maybe not the best person to ask, actually. I wouldn't say I'm, let's say, a recluse or something, but I'm also not the most outgoing person in the world, I'd say. Any tips on socializing? Ultimately, if you can, don't care about what other people think. I think that's the main thing. A lot of times you might overthink and say, should I do this or that? How will people judge me? Some people's biggest fear is being judged or being, laughed at. I would try to put that in the back of your head, basically, and don't give a crap about what people say. I think that's the main thing, and just be yourself, and people will like you for it. Wait, imagine Villarreal Madrid final. Yeah, everyone bigging up, Liverpool City, the best rivalry in Premier League history, everything, and then, it's going to be a Champions League final, and then it's Villarreal Madrid. If that happens, those are the limitless and the wild card. Fair play, you're in a great position, because people like me are going to be in a little scurry trying to get an 11 out. I'll probably have to take hits. Brought in Capu because of budget restrictions, and damn, there you go. Sometimes these little things play a part, and there we go. Wow, Foyth almost got 3 balls recovered. Yeah, I preferred him slightly over Stupinian, although the Ecuadorian has better attacking threat. Look, with Foyth, he's very good at recovering the ball. I've seen him a lot for Argentina. He's very good with that. Oh, wow, thank you. Someone just provided me a link. The link of links, as they say. No, do not open it on Google Chrome. Jesus, do not do that. I don't want to get copyrighted. Crap. Oh, God. All right, yeah, I think I've got a link. Yes, I'm watching it. Yeah. I had to thank the person. Okay, so far, fantastic Salah captaincy. Come on, get in, lads. 1 point for Jota, Fabinho, Robertson, Trent, and Alisson. Wow, that's actually crazy, though. Let's see. What else do we have? Should have captained Foyth. Okay, mate. A Liverpool goal would change your mind there. I wouldn't go that far. Well, I was already thinking of taking Capu or Lo Celso, and if I took Lo Celso, hard luck anyways. Look, I would have gone for Lo Celso myself just for the attacking threat. So there you go. These things can happen. Look at Capu's returns over the course of the season. They're not that consistent. Villarreal lost at home only against Barcelona. It was last year. Yeah, and they beat Arsenal as well. I'm pretty sure. They're a tough team. Tips for socialising, yeah? Talk to girls about FPL. Fair enough. Not that many girls play FPL, but there are. It's kind of like a growing community, but there's not that many compared to guys, unfortunately. Thanks, mate. Have a good one. Thank you. Barcelona Ultra, have a good one as well. Last November is the last time Villarreal sat home, yeah. I'm pretty sure the commentator probably said that. Where's the link? Unfortunately, the link I have at the moment is like a private one. It's generated by Navmix, so I can't put it as well, I think. So, yeah. The one I usually use is like VIP box, but recently it's been a bit iffy. Hez goal now don't show Champions League or Premier League games. The early goal makes for good viewing, and my 0-0's out of the window, but Villarreal have to win by 3 goals. I think Liverpool win in extra time. Yeah, or even just win by 2 goals and win on penalties. Villarreal have beaten United on penalties. They're good there. Man's in UCL semi-finals. We thought for another example of player leaving Spurs and doing well. Look, I've said this before. Why did Lo Celso go Spurs? Why did Foyth? Why did Romero go Spurs? Maybe as a stepping stone club. Like, no disrespect to Spurs fans, but it just doesn't make sense. And yeah, Foyth, look, he's won the Europa League. He's won, well, he didn't win Copa America because he was left out of the squad. But yeah, he's a decent young player. This will be another 30-point game week. Yeah, but then again, if most people don't have these Villarreal players, you should be fine. Danny Parejo almost scored. Yeah, I like Parejo anyway. Whether he scores or not, he's a good UCL Fantasy option anyway, and he's a quality player. Villarreal can play high-intensity game. Yes, they didn't really show what they could do at Anfield. I think what the plan was to mitigate Liverpool, because if they went toe-to-toe at Anfield, they would have lost probably by 3 or 4. Stay in the game, and the second leg they have a chance. But I still back Liverpool to go through. Although, based on what we've seen so far, Villarreal have been the best team. It's good to see, though, for the neutrals. Not so much for the Liverpool fans, because, obviously, this is going to be heart and mouth moment. I brought Capu into my team. Yep, fair play, mate. I've seen a few people do that, and, You know, I wouldn't have done it myself. Like, as much as I said he's one of the better options around his price, I wouldn't have done it. So fair play, mate. That's why making your own decisions can pay dividends. Ndombele is another one. I'll be honest though, Ndombele is a bit of it's a him problem, if you know what I mean. He's talented, but I'm not sure he has the mentality to really succeed. And obviously I don't know him, so that's maybe a harsh comment, but I'm just not too sure about his fitness. I just had such a banging meal. Haddock fillet, homemade steak fry, spicy wings, and scampi. Wow, that does sound nice, to be fair. I haven't had some of those things, I think. I don't think I've had scampi before. Homemade steak fries, yes, I think so. Spicy wings, of course. Haddock fillet, I'm not too sure if I had that, yeah. Fuff is doing fine at Spurs, just leaving the club is having problems. But wait, wasn't it a permanent transfer? Was it a loan? I think it was permanent. It was a loan made permanent. I like that Liverpool have played the strongest team, means no big hitters to come off the bench and put their foot down. Oh, Harry, you're an Everton fan, aren't you? Yeah, and congratulations on your win over Chelsea, and please don't try hard against Arsenal. Like, obviously you're going to be fighting for a relegation and staying up, but I can just tell Everton are going to be so annoying out against Arsenal on the last day. Robert having a terrible first 11 minutes. Yeah, and there you go. That's why, you know, if Tsimikas came in, it wouldn't have been the worst downgrade in the world. Now, Robertson is still, for me, the best left-back in the world. Yeah, once again, I can't send you a link that's working because all of them aren't working for me. The only one that is working is a private link, so unfortunately I can't send it to you. Really no Scampi? As far as I'm aware, Vincent, I might be wrong. I don't think I've had it. Thanks for this live stream, mate. Helps a lot. Thank you, Fakri, and thank you everyone for watching. Lo Celso's bullying Robertson. Oh my god. But Lo Celso's a quality player, and I don't know if you remember, he made a quality dribble against Liverpool. Yeah, it led to nothing, but, you know, literally a solo run. Oh! Whoa, that was I'm probably behind, by the way, but someone nearly went close. Was it Keita? Yeah, someone nearly scored. A dipping shot. Who lost it? I think Parejo lost it, and that's quite rare of him. Yeah, he got dispossessed. No, Thiago had the shot, wasn't it? Who the hell had the shot? I can't even. I'm stupid. I'm blind. I can't even see from here. Yeah, no, Keita won the ball and laid it off. But yeah, what minute am I on? 14 minutes basically, a few seconds beyond, so like 14:10 basically. Do you think we will stay up? Oof, we have less than Watford next to, as opposed to Leeds, who have Chelsea and Arsenal. Honestly, if you look at the fixtures, I think Leeds are in big trouble. Now, that win you got against Chelsea is crucial. Yes, I think you can, because even Arsenal, I could see you beating Arsenal, for example. It's tough. I honestly don't know who's going to get relegated. It's going to go down to the wire, I'm pretty sure. Do you think that Paul Torres is that terrible compared to Christensen? Not really. I think he's better than Christensen. At the beginning of the season, a lot of Chelsea fans were bigging up this. I need to say the Swedish, the Danish centre back, but or Danish, should I say? The thing is though, like ever since he's kind of been linked away from Chelsea, it just seems like he's not really in it at the moment. Can't wait for Nunez if he comes. The thing is, apparently he's linked to United. He's probably going to go. He's going to be linked to a lot of clubs. I'm not sure if he's going Arsenal. Mickey says, as a female, it's true, not many girls play FPL, sadly, but being first in my mini league again this season makes all the guys in my league annoyed, which is funny. Well, to be fair though, like, I'd be annoyed by not being first in my league, not because a woman is ahead. So that is a bit sexist, you know. Yeah, got to have a word with them. But yeah, I didn't actually know you're a female. I think that's the first time you said that. I've checked like the demographics, and you know, most people who put their gender, like, not that many people watch probably my videos anyway that are female, but. Yeah, it's kind of to be expected as well. Leeds are going down Ted Lasso style. That's a great comparison. I've seen that recently, so at least you didn't spoil it. And if you haven't seen Ted Lasso, watch it and just ignore what he said. Oh, Villarreal close again. Yeah, I'm not surprised, mate. I'm not surprised. What minute are you on, by the way, Goldhead? Leeds can be relegated now. The football is no longer interesting after Bielsa got sacked. But then again, you know, they were losing by 4-5 every single week with Bielsa. Jesse Marsch did get, you know, a good run out of them, and they're still in a big, you know, precarious situation. Yeah, Liverpool clean sheet gone. Mate, it could be worse than that. You know, Villarreal could knock them out if this continues. They could score 2 or 3, and Liverpool are in big trouble, and so is my UCL Fantasy team. Marsh has tightened Leeds up, but as a result, they're not prolific in front of goal. Yeah, excluding City game. And also, I wasn't watching the game too much, you know, between Leeds and City, but the commentator kept referring to Rafinha and his positioning. I think it was Lee Dixon. Rafinha was basically playing as a right wing back, and you know, to have your best, you know, your most creative and your biggest goal threat as a right wing back doesn't really make sense. But obviously, you're playing against City, you know, maybe it's somewhat understandable. But Rafinha is always going to be there. Is Ted Lasso really worth watching? Yes, I think it's the best Apple TV show. Now, I wouldn't put it in my top 5 shows of all time. It's a bit of like a silly show, there's some dumb jokes and stuff, but there's good character arcs, there's good acting, there's also some nice themes and topics that they cover, so I would recommend it. Yes, definitely. Cater with a shot just now. In terms of, if you're going to ask, you're not going to ask probably, but if someone were to ask me, what's your favourite shows, Dylan? I'm like, yeah, thank you very much for asking. I would probably say Breaking Bad, Sopranos, and The Wire. Don't spoil any of them, please. For those of you that haven't seen those beautiful shows, but those three are so good. And I'm not even sure if that's the order I'd rank them. I need to finish Sopranos first, so do not spoil it, please. But yes, I think those two and The Wire are amazing. Thank you, Gordon. Thank you very much. I was just about to say, pretty much those three. Another one that I really like is Daredevil. I like The Boys. I think those two are my favourite live-action comic book shows. I love the Batman animated series, the Spider-Man animated series as well, as a kid. And also I'm rewatching it now after watching the Batman film. What else do I like? There's a lot of Ozark, and that's another show I need to watch as well. Robertson is trolling, mate, but everyone has bad games, and Villarreal have a good... they've got a good team. I'm surprised though. I didn't expect this. I never expected Villarreal to score in like 5 minutes, basically. Oh, Sadio Mane. Okay, yeah, no, he's offside. Anyways, best Apple TV, bro. You need to watch Foundation. Well, okay. To be fair, I haven't watched anything else. Severance is another one that is apparently really good. Your curse continues. Liverpool suddenly become a terrible team. I'm not sure about what curse you're talking about, mate, because I already had the Liverpool players. I don't think I have a curse. Suits is a very good show. Yeah, I've heard a lot of great shows. There's Fargo. There's another show, Sons of Anarchy. What's the other one? The one that has a controversial ending. What's that damn show? Well, there's Lost. That's a kind of classic. But there's one show on Netflix. It's about like a serial killer or something. I can't remember. Speaking of serial killer shows, I like Mindhunter. Yeah, I love these kind of thrillers and stuff. Villarreal's playing to attack. Yep, they're going to get tired and Liverpool will snipe in some goals. Maybe, possibly, you just never know. But I would expect Villarreal can't sustain this for the whole game, and I still expect Liverpool to score. Yes, I agree on that. But I don't think it's as simple as that. Breaking Bad, best show for sure. I would have said the same, although after seeing The Wire and Sopranos, I think they're the same level. If I had to rank them right now, and I haven't finished Sopranos, it would be Breaking Bad first, Sopranos second, with The Wire third. But they're all, you could put any of them first. Game of Thrones I loved up until season 7. Then it went. What's the other show? I had another show in my mind just now. Better Call Saul. I went up to season 2, episode 4. I didn't end up finishing it, but I'm definitely gonna have a look. I like Moon Knight, although I wouldn't say it's my favorite show. Limited series. Speaking of that, I really like Chernobyl. I think that's also, you could put that in the top 5 shows of all time. Let's see, what else do we have? Here's a question I'll pose to everyone. If Liverpool were to win only the FA Cup and Carabao Cup, would it be an underwhelming season? I think, considering the position they put themselves in, yes, because their team is good enough to win the Champions League and the Premier League. But if they were to win one of those competitions and the Carabao, I'd say no, it's a good season. I think it's just based on how people see these cups. I think the FA Cup is the third best trophy, even over the Europa League, even if, it gets you to the Champions League, whatever. I really don't care. I still think the FA Cup is so historical and such a prestigious trophy. Only the Premier League and the Champions League that is available to an English team is better. Afternoon, Kobe. Thank you for tuning in. But yes, Harry, like I said, to answer your question, I think it would be. Same if City were to win nothing. If City win nothing, it's definitely an underwhelming season. Mindhunter's unreal. I'm still waiting for them to renew. Apparently it's cancelled, Goldhead, and the same goes for Daredevil, at least with Netflix. But yeah, I don't think there's going to be another season for Mindhunter. I don't think it was profitable enough, basically, unfortunately. The Liverpool winning UCL curse. Moving on. Okay, you're onto something there. Dylan, do you watch Marvel? If so, who's your favourite character? I do. I'll be honest, I'm slightly tired of Marvel in a way. And look, obviously very successful franchise, and as a cinematic universe, it's far better than DC, their cinematic universe. But just to make it very clear, my preference is like the Batman solo films, like the one we got recently, the Dark Knight trilogy, and the Joker film. I really like those type of films that kind of different. They transcend the comic book genre. As for Marvel, who's my favourite character? Probably Spider-Man, but Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man. I like Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man a lot, although I think his films were quite mediocre at best. Tom Holland's a good Spider-Man, but I just don't think he's as good, in my opinion, as the others. Obviously, people will disagree. Favorite character in the MCU specifically, I'd maybe go for Captain America. I need to say Captain Marvel, definitely not. Probably Captain America, yes. Daredevil is, I think, my favorite like Marvel character, and he's now part of the MCU. So yeah, villains, it'd be Green Goblin, Doc Ock. I like Victor Von Doom from Fantastic Four. Not necessarily from the films, but I really like him. I think he's kind of underrated. Kingpin, Thanos, obviously, one of the best. But then after Endgame and Infinity War came out, people actually said he's better than Joker from, Heath Ledger's Joker. And I'm like, yeah, okay, I'm not really going to talk to you anymore. TWD is solid too. The Walking Dead, I'm guessing you're saying. Yeah, I haven't seen that. Chernobyl was class, yep. Band of Brothers, I haven't seen that. The lead in that is also in the Foundation. Defo watch that deal. Yeah, look, I'll probably make a note of these. I probably have to take a screenshot or something. There's so many shows and films to watch. I still haven't seen some classic films like Schindler's List. So many films, mate. Even Chinatown, like some amazing films I haven't seen. The Punisher, yeah, was pretty good for a Marvel show. Yeah, I agree. I think that was the second best Marvel show on Netflix. It was better than The Defenders, better than Jessica Jones, although they were fine. Oh, how did Salah miss that? Oh, it's kind of disallowed anyway. Hey, don't complain, Salah. Don't complain. Don't get a yellow. Okay, you can blank, whatever. Liverpool can lose, but don't get a yellow. Or get sent off. Yes, what else do we have? What's the difference between the Carabao and FA Cup? The FA Cup is more historic. It is the oldest cup competition in the world. The FA Cup is far more prestigious for me than the Carabao Cup, definitely. Moon Knight is so refreshing. Doesn't feel like other Marvel projects yet. The horror thriller aspect is brilliant. Also, the multiple personality disorders, they're covering on different, themes. Anything with Egyptian mythology is always going to be interesting if done right. So yeah, episode 4 was actually frightening. They need more Marvel horror. I'll be like, I don't find it frightening, but I get what you mean. Like, it feels different. It doesn't feel like, a PG friendly, especially with what happened in the last few. Yeah, I'm not sure wasting what happened there. True Detective, yes, I need to see that. That's something that my parents and people that I know have constantly recommended. Doctor Strange is coming out tomorrow. Yeah, and look, I like Sam Raimi a lot. He directed the original Spider-Man films, and I think he'll be decent, but I am a bit scared of woke culture kind of influencing MCU, as they call it nowadays, too much. But let's wait and see. Hopefully not. And just to make it clear, I don't have a problem with female protagonists and stuff, but I want it done right, and I want it to actually mean something. FA Cup equals Arsenal's Cup. Yeah, maybe that's why I like it so much, but honestly, I think it's an underrated cup, and I wish we were still in it. I haven't watched Schindler's List or Shawshank Redemption. That's one of the best films of all time. Have no interest in them either. Wow, okay, fair enough. I think you should, Shawshank Redemption. That is one of the most beautiful films of all time. Let me put it that way. Schindler's List, I haven't seen. The same goes for another film that's quite similar, The Pianist. Yeah, there's a lot of films I have to see, basically. But I have seen a lot as well. Liverpool are super impatient. Today they are. Yes, today. On that note, yeah, please avoid Doctor Strange spoilers. Yeah, I will try my best to do that. I didn't know that, yeah. Not too surprising, I guess, yeah. Django Unchained, yeah, I saw that. I'm pretty sure it's Quentin Tarantino film, no? I don't think it's his best film. And to be fair, he's got so many, but it's one of his most underrated. Yeah, I really like Django Unchained. I'm watching the film tomorrow. Yeah, as Goldhead suggests, do not go on Twitter. Basically, what the key is, and it doesn't always work, but don't like anything on Twitter to do a Doctor Strange, because then it will recommend posts by people who spoil the game, and also the game. The film, and also on YouTube, do not go on videos, because YouTube will then be like, oh, you like Doctor Strange, yeah? They'll just keep suggesting these videos, so do not go on those videos until you've seen it. Yeah, Vera got more possession, no surprises there. I've got it literally in the background, and whilst Liverpool have had a few chances, you could say, yeah, it's not really the Liverpool we're expecting. I recommend people muting keywords. Yeah, that's another thing. Yeah, that's a good point. Dylan, who do you think will win in Miami, Verstappen or LaPlan? Verstappen. Oh, I missed that. I'm not sure, because we've never been in this track before, and anything can happen. I need to see what happens in FP1, FP2 and FP3 first. Right now, I'd still slightly favour Leclerc, but either of those two, and I'd say Perez and Sainz, have a chance of winning. I don't think anyone else does, really, unless those four get, they crash into each other or something. I think I'd slightly favour Leclerc, but Verstappen is, he'd be top of the championship if it wasn't for the DNFs, and he is so consistent. I think he's the best driver, personally. But Leclerc is top 3 for me. And yeah, I think he's going to win. As things stand, without knowing anything, without seeing the practice sessions. Doctor Strange has so many implications for the rest of Phase 4, so I don't want it ruined. Yeah, and I don't want, just random stuff, just good storylines, and then you can, do whatever, but just be good storylines and don't just do random stuff. He's probably avoiding Twitter himself. If you're asking about me, yes, I'm not really... I still go on Twitter, but I mainly have football news coming up, so I don't really get the movie spoilers, which is good. Smooth operators on a crash curse streak. Yeah, no, I think he'll fix that in Miami, and I'd be happy to keep him in F1 Fantasy as we discussed in my team selection video. So check that out if you haven't already. And if you want to play F1 Fantasy, even if you haven't started already, why not start it this season? And then you can, fully focus on it next season and then get the rank you want. But why not learn the ropes and enjoy it right now? Yeah, same here, Gordon. Thank you very much. Gonna hop off and chill, watch the match. Have a good night, everyone, and maybe see you tomorrow for a live. If not, see you all on the weekend. Yes, there's probably going to be a best bench boost team for Double Gimmick 36 in FPL, so be sure to check that out. Probably a transfer tips, team selection. I think those videos are going to be coming out basically. So the bench boost will kind of replace the best wildcard team, which, to be fair, I don't think it's really the best time to wildcard. Probably. And then, yeah, what else? The deadline stream on the Saturday, if I'm not mistaken. The reaction stream on the Sunday. And then we've got the UCL Fantasy stuff ahead of Matchday 13, obviously in a few weeks' time. F1 Fantasy content, if possible. I will do a deadline stream on F1 Fantasy on the Saturday, but I'll let you guys know about that. What is a spoiler that's ruined your day? Okay, look. Just for those of you that haven't seen Breaking Bad or that are in the process of watching it and haven't finished it, turn off now. Because I'm going to give a spoiler for Breaking Bad. So, Harry, the worst spoiler I've ever heard, the one that first comes up into my mind, was in an English literature class in A-level. Imagine that, yeah? I go in, we're talking about tragic villains or tragic protagonists, because we're talking about Othello, Shakespeare. And then do you know what someone says next to me? Oh yeah, you know what's a really good example? Walter White dying. And I'm like... I literally was in like the second last season... And my mind, I just went blank. I'm like, you know what? I'm trying to get that out of my head. Like, why are you ruining it for me? And then, not only that, like, I even say to him, I think, or maybe I said it too late. Shortly afterwards, he says something like, oh yeah, and Hank dying. And I'm like, like, dude, don't say that. Like, bro, I'm trying to watch the show in peace. It's like one of the best shows of all time, and you're fucking ruining it for me. Pardon my French. Yeah, that's probably the most frustrating spoiler I've ever seen. Yeah, I think that's the one. It really just, it comes into the, the front of my mind. I started playing F1 Fantasy from Miami GP. Fair enough, yeah. I mean, why not? Enjoy it, and you can always learn for next season. You can create a separate account. If I don't think there's a rank history anyway. This week's FPL deadline is later. I think 1:30 UK time. Oh really? Let me double check that. Yeah, that'll be interesting. That's gonna be a bit of an awkward time for maybe not awkward, but a bit of an interesting time. It's been a 1:30. Thank you for... I actually didn't know that. So the first game is... we've got 4 games on at the 3 o'clock. Brentford, Southampton, Burnley, Villa, Chelsea, Wolves, and Palace, Watford. And then we've got a 5:30 game, Brighton, Man United, and then 7:45 Liverpool, Spurs. Come on, Liverpool. In that game, Liverpool, come on, do Arsenal a favour, get the victory. You can then, do your title challenge. And then Arsenal early kickoff alongside Leicester, who are facing Everton. Arsenal Leeds, that's a huge game. They could go 5 points clear of Spurs heading into that North London derby. That is massive. And then if they beat Spurs as well, they've secured 4th basically, and that's 8 points clear. Something different. I'll be honest, I'm not really a big fan of waking up so early, because I have to wake up at like 7 or 8 to set up the stream on a Saturday. I typically wake up later than that, let's say. La Liga needs a proper fantasy, it doesn't have that, I think. Why is there no early kickoff this week? Honestly, I have no idea. I think it's because it's rescheduled fixtures. That's probably why. Honestly, I have no idea. The same thing happened to me in school, but it was my friend at the time. I was only in season 2. She purposely told me what happened. Okay, if you purposely do it, that's a twat move, basically. He didn't mean to spoil it. Like, he was just basically saying he assumed everyone saw it already, or that I wasn't interested. Unfortunately, I was. Feels like there hasn't been a Saturday night game in forever. Liverpool versus Tottenham. Yeah, that's true. I'm looking forward to that. Have you ever spoiled anything? Maybe unintentionally, but I can't remember anything. I have to think about that, but I probably have. If someone asks me, do not spoil something, I won't do it. Maybe as a joke, for example, like to tease them, I'll say, this guy, that like Spider-Man dies or something. But like nothing serious. So yeah, I don't think I have spoiled anything. Some interesting questions in the chat, but we're going to wrap up now. We've been streaming for a long time. I'm going to watch the game fully and give it all my undivided attention. Thank you very much to everyone. If you haven't already, smash the like button and subscribe for more UCL Fantasy content ahead of Matchday 13, but that will be in a few weeks' time. So got a little bit of a break there. Let's just enjoy the Champions League for now. FPL content throughout the week, so stay tuned for that for sure, and F1 Fantasy, so there's plenty more to come throughout the summer and throughout the year. Take care, enjoy the football and the Formula 1. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram, DylanRCM. We can chat there, as well as the Discord server in the description below. All the best of luck for Matchday 12. A great start for all of us. Not, but let's see what happens. There's still a long way to go, and I'll see you next time. Let's go. See you.